This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 817 for the week of Monday, May 13th, 2024. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And today, we have some of my favorite people on this show. First, storyboard artist and contributor Josh McKenzie is on. How's it going, Josh?
Hi, beautiful listener. How are you?
Did you notice, after you told me I don't say that enough to the listeners, that I did post a tweet that asked, said, how are you doing?
I did see that. I wasn't credited.
Yeah,
but I did see it. I did see it.
I don't really do that. I just steal ideas. We also have Vero, our contributor, here with us. How's it going?
Hi. I also want to know how the listener's doing. At me right now.
Too bad. Say that it's going to happen.
Leave a few seconds for them to respond.
Yeah, okay.
And continue.
Oh, I guess I should continue. And finally, our special guest tonight, voice actor, producer, director, and her biggest role is as Sengoku's pet goat in One Piece, who we have discussed for the length of our podcast, Pwn Goat, known back in the aughts. We have Kdin Jenzen with us. How's it going?
Going very well. I'm glad that I'm going to be known as that for the rest of my life.
You could play Luffy in the future, and it still wouldn't overcome that. That is...
Zach saying the word pwn goat made me feel like an ocean of like age wash over me, just like separating it. I'm like,
I didn't make it up. It was what it was called.
I haven't heard that.
Steve,
I just
back
like
me up here.
It's that
Josh just had some sort of physical reaction. I don't know what it's gonna look like. Josh, you look like you're doing the Pan's Labyrinth thing.
Yeah, because I was gonna let Pwn Goat go. I'm like, you know what? I already gave Zach shit for not crediting me for stuff. I'm gonna let Pwn Goat go.
You know that gif of Solid Snake smoking a cigarette and he like ages? That's how that felt just there.
Uh-huh.
Kdin, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I am a big fan of everything that happens in One Piece land, and I'm totally not actually very new to One Piece at all.
So, I won't ask you any follow-up questions to that to confirm that whether that's true or not. You also have your own One Piece podcast, I know, and I think were you doing some D&D with it too?
So, start of the pandemic, I was watching, ironically enough, the Fast and the Furious films because
they are similar.
I was encouraged to. I honestly,
I'm not kidding.
It's about
Fast and the Furious 6 is very enemies level.
Yeah, no, you're so right.
I was watching them because a friend was like, "Oh no, they're actually really good," and I'm like, "I don't believe you." But it was also the pandemic, and I kind of ran out of things to do. So I'm like, all right, fine. And I did a live tweet thread of every single Fast and Furious film. And I'm like, cool, I did all of this. And now what do I do? And somebody says, well, read One Piece. And I'm just like, yeah, sure. And then like a month later, I'm like, I guess I'm going to read and watch One Piece because I really don't have anything to do. And within a couple weeks, I ended up playing Uno with some friends online on the Nintendo Switch, which is a great service that doesn't disconnect you every 30 seconds. And we started talking, and it was like the first time I'd really chatted with any of them one-on-one. And I started to tell them, it's like, yeah, no, I started One Piece. I really know next to nothing about it. I've never really looked into it. All I know is eventually there's a reindeer that shows up. And that's about all I know about One Piece. And they're just like, well, how far are you? I'm just like, oh, I just got I just met Laboon and all these other little things. And they're just like, well, what do you think's going to happen? And so it's like, oh, well, I think this, and this. And I started prattling off general theories from my years of both creating media and absorbing media, and they're just like, hey, you need to shut up right now. You need to stop talking immediately because we need to record what you're saying. And we're all just like, yeah, we'll make a podcast out of it. It was a joke for about a week. We played Uno again the next week just to kind of vibe. And they're just like, okay, no, we actually have to do this podcast thing. By the end of 2020, we had really started creating Yaoi Talk Show, which we kind of base a lot of our things on the 4Kids like color scheme, and we re-recorded the 4Kids intro as the intro to our podcast, and it's been a journey. And part of the problem was that I was never allowed to catch up. I was never allowed to outpace what our next recording would be. So if we were recording Annie's Lobby, I stopped at Annie's Lobby. If we were recording Thriller Bark, I stopped at Thriller Bark. And I was doing things in chunklets, which was a chore and a challenge because my brain wanted more One Piece. I desperately wanted more. But it really created this like little bubble of, I don't know what's going to happen. So I get to throw theories at the wall and they get to sit there quietly and listen to me talk about all these possible ideas that could happen. And one of the ones that really hurt another podcast mate of mine, Molly, was I'm just like, oh yeah, no, Ace has to die. Like thematically, Ace has to die immediately. Like, He's built up as this better than Luffy and cooler than Luffy. This dude is not living through this series. And it was just like, yeah, that's an interesting theory. And then like about 6 months later, it's just like, I want you to know I cried that night when you said that Ace had to die, because when I was first reading it, I didn't see it at all. And it hurt me so bad. But part of my claim to fame is that I have actually predicted a lot of things that are still happening now back when I started reading. So a lot of the stuff that happened in Wano and is happening on Egghead right now, it's just like, oh, hey, I predicted that. And they're just like, this is why we needed to record, and this is why you need to shut up.
I have to say, and highest of compliments, that the one other person I know who was very good at doing that is Colleen Klinkenbeard, who we had interviewed in 2010, had not didn't know what was going to happen. What was it? There was a bunch of theories that she got hit out of the park. The Island of Women, I think she figured out, to show you how long ago it was.
Oh yeah,
and a few others. But yeah, I guess it's very predictable to the two of you, this series. But no, that's pretty crazy. So now that you've finished your chunklets, as you put it, how is it being week to week, or as I should say, month to month, or whatever it is now?
It is, well, I actually do appreciate that Oda's taking breaks, especially with everything that happens in the manga and anime industry. I'm a huge proponent for not burning out and taking breaks. So every time it's just like, oh, we're on a break. And I was like, great, good. You take that break. You deserve it.
Yeah, but content.
Week, it's true. It's true, especially as content creators. It's like, okay, cool.
We're base our content on you. I'm sorry.
He's taking a break. I guess we have to figure out what to do, which is something that Yayo's in the middle of right now, because we're deciding to do things still doing in chunks, like chapter chunks. So we're dealing with a lot of things all at once. But it's not too bad. I've survived Naruto, I've survived Bleach, I've survived Dragon Ball. Doing the whole week to week thing back when you'd have to go to the library or go to a Borders or Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
And it's just well, they only have volumes 1, 6, and 9. So I guess I'm not reading this series. It's kind of a lot easier, especially with the abundance of other things to read, alongside of it. And then you come back and it's just familiar little One Piece. I love this.
That Borders reference also makes me feel as old as the term pone goat. Yeah, aging. Anyway, so you actually answered my question about your origin story, I guess, in a nutshell. Was there anything else you want to add? I don't want to railroad over anything you might want to say about your origin story with One Piece.
Originally, I kind of had a thing. This is part of the reason that I ended up not paying attention to One Piece at all, is because back when One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach had started coming out in the States, me and 2 other friends, very young, super young, were just like, okay, we'll all pick one and we'll talk about what we've read in those things. That way, one person doesn't have to hold the brunt of 400 volumes of manga on their shoulders. And immediately the first person was like, I like ninjas, I'm picking Naruto. The second person was like, dibs on One Piece. I'm like, I guess I have Bleach. And my biggest thing was, okay, everybody got super into Naruto. And when Bleach ended, I'm just like, well, at least mine ended, guys. Like, you guys are still going. And technically, sorry, Naruto people, that you guys are still going. Kind of, unfortunately, in a lot of ways for a lot of fans.
Yeah, so
but
I've heard.
I decided, I was like, well, everybody's into Naruto. I'm going to read Naruto. I read all through Naruto and Shippuden, and I'm just like, yeah, that was fine. That's fine. But I'm never doing this again. I'm not putting myself through a shonen something ever again unless it is brand new and just starting. And it's just like, I think the most recent shonen thing I really like, traditional shonen, heavy quotation marks, was My Hero. And I started reading that, and I fell off that. Liked it, enjoy it, very fun. But I saw One Piece, and I'm just like, no, too long. I just don't want to. And after catching up, the biggest thing that I realized is, I could have caught up in 2 months, and it would have been easy.
Yeah. I think we were talking before the show about different series, and now I want longer series, because when you get to the end and you have to read week to week, it's torturous. So it's like, give me as much backlog as you could get. I say, having done week to week for One Piece for 15, 16 years. So we also have 4 questions that we ask, I forget the number, that we ask all new guests. The first, and they only have one right answer, as I tell everyone. If you get it wrong, we get to be derisive the rest of the time.
You will be ejected from the call.
Ooh, awesome! This is like you are the weakest link.
Yeah,
okay,
we could mute you at random times for no reason. Okay. First question: who is your favorite Straw Hat?
Nico Robin.
That's a correct answer.
Okay.
That is so true.
Okay, you're now allowed one wrong answer since you said Nico Robin.
Okay, that's fine.
That's
fine.
how right that is. Second, who is your favorite non-Straw Hat?
My favorite non-Straw Hat, I'd probably have to go with Shocky. Probably Shocky.
That's a fun choice. I want to know more about her.
That is a fun choice.
No, I don't think I've heard anyone say Shocky for that.
Yeah, no, I meant that. It was a fun choice.
Yeah.
She's super interesting in
Yes.
a lot of ways, and she's only gotten more interesting. It's like, can you keep talking? I just want you to keep talking.
I'd watch
There's
that
so much more
spin-off.
about you.
You should be Pirate Empress. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's like, what were you doing that whole time?
Smoking a
I wanna know
cigarette.
about you. Yeah.
Tending a bar. Which I would still watch. That's a good series, I think, right there. Shocky giving derisive comments to people, because they got the wrong answer on this. Third question: who's your favorite antagonist?
Favorite antagonist? Goodness. I feel like it kind of ends up being a 3-way tie. Enel was my original favorite just because of how ultra aggressive he was right out of the gate. Crocodile, but I feel like Crocodile's kind of skirting on the line of not really an antagonist at this point, just a different kind of antagonist for him. But I think maybe, goodness, I think we're gonna go with an L. I'm gonna go with my original answer. I'm gonna go with an L.
That's a good answer.
He's
Not
fun.
said enough, I don't think. Yeah. I look forward to seeing him again someday.
Yeah, me too. I'm waiting for that.
It's on the moon right now. The next one: what is your favorite story arc?
My favorite story arc, honestly, probably Enies Lobby.
Bold answer, everyone. Yes, yeah. Have you watched any of the anime?
Oh, I've watched a considerable amount of the anime.
All right. So the one I've been adding is to this questionnaire is, what is your favorite opening and or ending theme?
Oh, I'm so basic. I just love We Are so
That's
much.
not basic.
It's the right answer.
It's so good, and every rendition of it that they use, and every new version of it, it's that song that makes you feel good.
You played Pongo, you went to Borders, and you like We Are, and that's fine. I'm not going to judge you for it, even though I hear Josh and Vero judging me for it right now.
No, not at all. I would never judge you.
Yeah, we have so many other things to judge you for.
Oh, shit, you're right. With that, we're going to be going through chapter 1114 today, and I believe I should have had the title. It was something of Icarus. I should have that.
The wings,
The Wings of Icarus. Thank you. I was just pulling it up.
You know, the things that Icarus is known for.
No, well, not anymore. They're burnt, and he's dead. Spoiler alert,
eyes of
Icarus
Icarus.
dies, and so does the person.
The screams and
Icarus-
yells and pain of Icarus.
That I remember.
Icarus's favorite shirt.
I think you're thinking of
Wow,
Incubus.
son.
Anyway, what I was going to say, two big pieces. One big piece of news, podcast related. I think we've mentioned this before, but we are doing another live show at the City Winery. And what's great is I think everyone, I don't know about you, Ed, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I think everyone on this call is going to be there.
Yippee!
On August 25th at 7 p.m.
Come on, Ed. Come on, Ed.
Peer pressure.
Come to New York. New York
I said I
freaking.
was-
Yeah, that's what we sound like.
By everyone, what do you mean?
That's how we freaking sound like.
Yeah, we're podding here.
I'll write
There
it
will be
down,
people in
but
the
we're not
audience who
using it.
sound like that, though. You understand that, right?
Yeah, we actually met some of them, and it was fantastic. I mean that genuinely as being one of them as well.
People with like really strong accents. My favorite people on this planet. I respect the heck out of it.
Is there any accent that doesn't apply to? Is there an exception to that rule? Call them out right now.
Oh, okay. The South African accent. What are you guys doing? What's going on there? I don't get it. It confuses
Wow.
me.
The entire
It's Dutch.
One Piece live action cast
Yeah.
dejected right
Yeah, I
there.
totally.
Yeah, the emails we're gonna get for that one.
Okay. Am I wrong? It just. I
you were
I'm
wrong.
like,
I
are
like
you
that accent.
Australian? Or then I'm like, are you British?
Those are both good accents, though. So
No,
why
but
not
I
meld
mean
those?
Specifically, the South African one that I hear. I don't know.
I think you're confusing bad and confusing.
Maybe. What's the difference?
Anyway,
Sorry.
We're going to be on the We're going to be at the City Winery in New York City. If you forgot, that's what we were talking about. August 25th, 7 p.m. It's the weekend of Anime NYC. Which can we say, Steve, that you'll be there?
I'm looking to be there.
Looking to be there. Okay. You could also have Delaney edit that if you want. And yeah, we're very excited to have our panel there, to have our show again there. Hopefully we could do the manga, but if not, we have a lot of people from the podcast that will be showing up. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I think we're just going to do it that we all talk simultaneously and it's unintelligible.
Vero and I will be tap dancing. It will be a show.
You know, there's going to be at least one person who shows up who's
Yeah.
going to expect that now.
Dinner and a show. I did tap dancing at 8. We could do it. Let's
But
practice
it's
our routine.
by the way, it's confirmed that I can definitely go, and that makes me happy.
Yay!
Yay. Now, if I could bring Noah along is the question at 7 p.m. on that might be interesting. But anyway,
One Piece podcast talent show. That's
Yeah,
I like it.
bring a talent.
that's what we should do. Ed, what are you going to do?
Steve should do ribbon dancing. I think that would
Oh
be good.
yeah. Or what's that? Is that one with like the trapeze, but it's like cloth and you're. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's
Yeah,
that's
silk.
exactly-
No, ribbon dancing's a different thing. Oh, never mind.
No, it's like hanging from the ceiling, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that
like,
one.
Circus delay, or whatever the hell.
Circus
Delay.
delay.
Cirque du Soleil?
Circus delay.
Well,
Circus
Circus,
Delight, the
circus
delicious,
display.
the delicious drink that Mom always buys.
okay, now
you
Steve
wanna
is
talk
going
about
to
One
be
Piece?
subject to derision. Yeah,
Yeah, we should.
Let's go into the manga. We're going to talk about chapter 1114. I think we're going to have some anime recaps. We'll see, and we have some piece together. So let's talk about all this on the other side of the break. This is the manga recap for chapter 1114, The Wings of Icarus. Again, not the screaming death calls, cries of Icarus, which equally famous. You can read this chapter and all chapters as soon as they come out at shonenjump.viz.com or mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. This is a very serious chapter about very serious things, and we have the giggliest people here with us joining us. So I think if you rebuff criticism before it happens, then you can't be criticized. So right. I'm gonna do that here. So just prepare for that. Ed, let's go through the cover page, because this is always fun to see our boy here.
Sure.
What's going on?
It's Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 4. Go and shrine this sword at Hakumai's Senma Shrine in Yasuie's stead. That is your surrogate pilgrimage. That's too much surrogate pilgrimage in one sentence. Yeah,
I was going to say that.
So after Kinemon had a weird look on his face last week, he gives Yamato a completely normal.
Do the thing you were planning on doing.
Yeah, just
but with this sword.
Stop on the way. X marks the spot, and then don't go anywhere. Just make a circle.
I like the idea he's pointing to like a PowerPoint presentation, and you could see all the bubbles there.
Yamato's thumbs up.
Yeah, I like that. Very in character for him, I think. Just like I'll do that.
Yasuie doesn't look happy though. He's dead.
Well, he's dead. He got in death what he could never get in life, and that's the ability to scowl.
So this is where is this the shrine where Onimaru lived? Or Yukimaru?
That's a good question. There are a lot of shrines in One Piece,
True.
So it's unclear. In One Piece and Wano. Well, also.
Yeah. It's just a regular sword with a bunch of circles on the scabbard and a circular hilt.
Looks kind of like the sad devil fruit design, like the one Momo had.
Momo's fruit.
Yeah. I doubt it's related, but
that's about it.
Any other thoughts on the cover page?
I have been reading One Piece in chunks, so my face when I was like, Yamato's back, I was so happy.
Chunkettes, I believe is the term.
Chunklets?
Josh, you want to start us? Chunklets. Oh, either way. Or chicklets, I believe is the name of it.
I would love to start us off. I assume I was given this page spread because I see a lot of guys in here who have done nothing wrong and committed no crimes.
Yes, actually, yes.
Yep.
Those are all the reasons that I'm being honest. I saw that and I'm like,
a lot of guys I've famously defended online, so that's great.
That's what I saw. And I'm like, no one else is going to want to defend these war criminals, so give it to Josh.
Yep, so this is picking up directly from the big announcement we had at the end of the last chapter. At the Navy HQ in the New World, the world will sink under the sea? And everyone listening to Vegapunk's broadcast, Dr. Vegapunk, what are you talking about? Akainu is not surprised.
It's Hina. Hina's there.
Hina is there.
No, you're missing the big story. Burger Man is there. And his French fry companion.
Yeah, Burger Time.
Yeah, Burger Time. Did we have a name for him last time he showed up?
Is that a real
character? Because he
character?
showed up
Probably, and it wasn't that good.
No, I'm sure it wasn't.
Major
we did the
McCheese.
We did the hamburger Lincoln thing again.
I do like Major McCheese.
The Major McCheese
is very good, Ed. I'm sorry I talked over that.
He showed up. This Popeye guy is in front of him.
Me too. I am what I am. No, the burger guy was also in the wanted poster chapter where we learn all the wanted posters, and I thought it was very boring, but the rest of the world is like, you're an idiot. It was the most exciting chapter of One Piece ever, and I'm like, okay, I'm in my mid to late 30s, so I guess you're right. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, you did interrupt the smoldering image of Akainu. He's sort of giving his model face here. We cut to Mocktown. People are living it up, laughing, cheering. Now that's so funny. So he decides that when he dies, he's gonna go out throwing the world into chaos. The ridiculous. How exactly is the entire world gonna sink underwater, man? And then they cut to the water city that is half underwater. In Water 7 around here, we believe him. But the whole world, he's not talking about high and low tides, is he? We get to see Polly. which I liked.
And what's his face? Freddie Mercury behind him.
You mean Lulu?
Lulu. Yeah. Pepe Lulu.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
That's his name, right?
I think it's Peeply. Is it Peeply? Lulu? Ed?
Maybe I'm thinking of Pepe.
I think Steve's right about that one.
Yeah, I think he's probably right. He reads the manga.
I'm right.
I know. I just said that. Keep saying.
Lastly, we cut to Impel Down. Doflamingo's living it up. Oh, that's rich. What if the seawater floods down into Impel Down? Isn't it your job to ensure the safety of the prisoners under your care, Magellan?
So, next panel, we get, like, sassy crossed arms Magellan, who's just kind of leaning back in the chair a little bit, just kind of taunting Doflamingo a bit.
I love that man. I love Magellan.
He's definitely got a vibe.
Yeah, it's called diarrhea.
This man loves his Taco Bell. That 1 meter rise the other day had the prison panicking. How many meters does it take to sink the whole world? Of course, Doflamingo is kind of like just having a ball with this. He's just on the ground having floor time, as most of us need these days. Most cities in the world will be wiped out with an extra 5 meters of water. What do you think? Should we all move to much higher ground? I love the little bits of veins on his forehead almost at all times.
Constantly.
How
has he not died of an aneurysm or something? Like, I don't understand how this man's alive. Isn't he in his 40s or 50s too? Like, he's
he's an older dude.
Perverts everywhere rejoicing seeing him. That's all I know.
I hate him.
Yeah, same.
So, clearly,
you should all
Take
move
that face,
to a
Josh.
bigger house.
We get to go back to the Ryugu Kingdom, which is Fishman Island, which I love that place. Big fan. We see the big kingdom. We see Shirahoshi talking to her father, King Neptune. Father, what's going to happen? We've got a nice whale sound because whales make the sound whale, which is
that's like a Toriyama-ish thing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
The animal makes the name. That's the sound they make. Pig, or whatever.
Yeah, giraffe.
Zebra.
King Neptune, of course, it sounds just so absurd. And it's like, I don't know why he would be the one to think that the world getting flooded would be absurd. I think he'd be the one to like it, though.
I was going to say,
you
he can't complain about that.
Benefit
yeah, this is
like, oh no, more kingdom. Oops. Yeah. Future Egghead Island, we snap back. We see the entire fleet of ships just reacting to everything that's going on. It's like, what is he talking about? This is coming from the world's greatest scientist? He can wreak havoc on the world, even with a lie! And we get a really good close-up. I love the exaggerated jaws that Oda does at all times. Anytime somebody does the, longer than their entire face open mouth scream. This is utter nonsense, Dr. Vegapunk! We smash cut, and we see 4 of the 5 elders being like, crap. He's given up the ghost here a little bit. With the the telepathic messaging between, it's like, destroy the transmission transponder snail. In fact, destroy any life form you can hear. Everything else is secondary. We get a nice roar going on from the final elder. Do really like their designs. Yeah, Mars.
They're all super freaky. I was going to say, how can you tell that they're worried? They all look like they're feral at the moment. But,
they're having a bad time, which is good. Good for everybody else, though.
That's true. You don't want them having a good time.
We've got lovely number 2. Lovely number 2 that okay, can I just got to ask. Does everybody like her? Is that like a fan thing that everybody likes her?
York?
Or no? Yeah.
York?
I don't know if anyone particularly likes
I
York.
know a very specific kind of person that likes her.
Yeah.
Ken?
A very special boy. Yeah.
I think she has been a fun character. Mm-hmm. Do I like her? No.
I think that.
Sorry.
She's
a good villain. I think she's a fun
I
fun
think there
for
is
the
a
story.
definite line between I like and she's very fun to read about.
There's a
Yes, that's
Vegapunk
the
for
one.
every kind of weirdo out there. That's all
That's
I
so
gotta
true.
say.
That's so true because she's no Shaka.
Yeah,
true.
you know what? I'm also a Shaka guy.
I like that she kind of
I
sucks,
could-
so she's fun.
Yeah, she is like the fail Vegapunk.
Yeah,
It's pretty
we
good.
love a fail girl.
It is. She all she does is poop and eat. So
It's true. It's what we all aspire to
know.
be able to just do.
Wait, that's the
I
one
think we
thing everyone could do.
But only that.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
all she needs to do. That's all she needs
That's
to
true.
do.
It's the need part. That's
Yeah. Everything else is superfluous.
That's
Anyway,
true.
she is hauling because she's not in a good space right now. Like the last
bathroom.
couple chapters have been not kind to her. So she's just huffing around. How much are you going to tell them, Stella? Now, speaking of the future for me, assuming that the senses are built, functioning correctly, in the days after I record this message, there should be a most remarkable earthquake that strikes the entire planet. And everybody's like, what?
So is this supposed to be Alabasta or just desert place?
It looks like it looks like it's Alabasta, based off of like
is it
a
like the
little
thatched roof thing. I'm like trying to remember. It's been a long time.
I
Anyway,
think so.
probably not important. Probably. Steve.
Okay. And then familiar faces, but I have no idea where they are. This is Charlotte Smoothie and Charlotte. Oh no, I forgot his name.
Are you serious?
Book guy.
Montour.
Charlotte's-
Mondor.
Montork. Remember we called
I
him
like it.
Montork?
Yeah, I do. Yes,
A book guy.
Welcome to the world of books.
yes. The magical world of reading. And this is Smoothie saying, "Is he talking about the earthquake? The earthquake from today? But Vegapunk's already dead, supposedly." And then we hear more of Vegapunk's speech as we go to a unknown location. Maybe this, who knows? But a flood has definitely hit. Folks are evacuating in little dinghies. Some people are still trapped in their homes. And this is Vegapunk saying, as a result of the sea should rise about 1 meter around the world, rendering some islands uninhabitable.
You're
One big
between
word, sorry.
like old Jewish man and which I guess Einstein was.
No.
And-
Let him flow. Let him flow.
No, go.
I think-
dude.
I think-
I like it. I'm not
Zach,
criticizing.
if I'm not mistaken, Einstein was an old Jewish man, so I think I'm doing okay.
No notes. Keep going.
Yeah.
No notes. Yeah.
And then one of the poor bastards in this this boat is like, "Huh? Was that a prophecy?" And the speech continues. "Beaches around the world will be lost for good." And we see another a bunch of familiar faces here. Here's Tonjit and Shelly or Sherry. I think it might be Sherry in the manga.
I think it was. Yeah.
And he says, "If I'm wrong, and it's like in this prediction, feel free to disregard the rest of this message." And I feel like Tonjit's like, shit, like I kind of, come on, I just got back with I just reunited with my family and all that. And
That was 2 years
or it's
ago.
like, we just moved again.
But that's what they do. They're nomadic people.
And we must be at full lead here. And we have some random pirate groupie in the back here saying, "How? That's freaky, man. He totally nailed it." And we see Kuzan kind of just, kind of murmuring in the foreground here. And we're back to Vegapunk here saying, if this has happened, however, you should heed my words very carefully. This particular earthquake is not exactly what I would call a natural phenomenon. And we hear a lot of screams and shrieks and some bam, bam, bams as we close in here at the tower, the egg thing. Not punk records.
Labaface.
Labaface. The word you're looking for
We
is
all said it at the same
Labaface.
time. It just takes 4 brains.
What was the thing that it took you 8,000 Venus
Venustro.
It's a dumb name.
I don't disagree with you. It just took you 3,000
Hey.
times. Anyway, go ahead.
It's a dumb name.
It is. I don't disagree. And by that I mean I agree.
And we see Chopper, Nami, Brooke, and Lilith are still fighting. Not Mars. You're
Saturn.
I almost said Workery. He says, Vegapunk, don't you say another word! And he's just... Oh, Usopp's there, too. And his big pincers, or, his big spider legs are just swinging down, and Chopper's bouncing them off of guard point. And someone's saying, go away! And Vegapunk continues here and says, in my own way, I only ever hoped for a peace. And
wait. Is Usopp upside down in that first panel?
Yeah. Well, I thought he was kind of doing the thing he always does, where he kind of just like he rolls and and he keeps firing.
Gracefully.
But I think a lot of them get knocked out of the way, but Robin saves them with a spider net made of her.
Ironically,
yeah. Oh yeah, we see the connection, and I think this is Saturn just stampeding over guard point Chopper here.
Poor kid.
His eyes are aflame, and he just yells, "Be gone!" And I don't know what exactly happens, but we're cutting away to something else now.
Yeah, I gotta say the action was super difficult to follow in this particular part, I think. But yeah, we see where he goes. I do like the fact that I do like that it is chaotic, but it was a little.
Well, Lilith's in that last panel too, so.
I mean, it does properly express the chaos of the moment. Also, it looks like Nami, I think, was the one who got in the thing that's putting the lightning that's flaming Saturn's eye. A sentence I never thought I'd say. Kdin.
Yeah, so Vegapunk continues, as he tends to. But this was the root of my first sin. And we see Saturn is just kind of bursting his way through everything. And again, telepathically talking to the other elders. What about the power plant, Mars? Not yet! The chamber must not be harmed above all else. I will go. So, Vegapunk continues as Mars is just, or as Saturn is kind of bursting through everywhere and just trying to dig into the core of everything. I dreamt of a source of endless eternal energy, and in my desire to push the world forward into the future. And not to give Vegapunk any sort of satisfaction, Saturn says the name of it before we actually get to see it. The mother flame. I flew too close to the sun. And we see what is a giant core of energy with a singular flame in the center. It is a very big piece of machinery. It's quite impressive. Like, this is a nice spread. I really do
beautiful.
Like that. It is a really nice
Saturn is
two-pager.
back in the human form now, too.
Yeah, Saturn is back in
Which took me a
human
minute
form.
to figure out there.
And Saturn, of course, is just on a rampage now in human form. Destroy every last sign of life in the lab. And looking for something in particular, it looks like, because
the transmission still, right?
Not that one either. Yeah.
So this is, I think, without a doubt, the assistants who made this page for the most part, I assume. But yeah, gorgeous and Akira vibes. Even maybe Pluto vibes a little bit.
Oh yeah,
it's good. Yeah, I really like. We see a little of this kind of stuff in Punk Hazard, but this is you feel the foreboding nature of this here. Ed.
Okay. So Vegapunk continues. We get a close up of the mother flame and glubs and blubs in the background there. But he says, "Allow me to explain just what it is." And back elsewhere on Egghead, we hear, "It's no good. It didn't work. You can't even make that thing so much as flinch." And so now Warcury is chasing after Dory and Brogy, and he's setting everything on fire, and Luffy's sort of evading in the background. And I think it's Dory says, "Yeah, that's hot." And Hurry before we get roasted alive. And so Vegapunk says,
Luffy in the background laughing.
Yeah, still laughing. Allow me to explain just what it is that is happening to our world. About 900 years ago to 800 years ago, a period of a century, there is a span of history that is completely and entirely blank. We get a close-up of the Pangaea Castle, Marijoa, and Emu's silhouette appears. So elsewhere in Marijoa, we see the reaction of the celestial dragons. They're extremely disturbed by this. What are you doing, Navy? Make him stop talking.
I assume they were watching something else, and this cut it off. The question is, what
they had 5 minutes to get together
that they were watching.
They don't move fast, but anyway, an execution is too good for him. Bring me his body. I'll mutilate the corpse. But he continues. We call this the Void Century because all records from this time were eliminated. The only means to know this lost piece of history is to find a message from the past in the form of poneglyphs scattered across the world. And so I guess this is Shaurya from Shibondi Archipelago who says...
Good memory there. I forgot her name.
Void Century. What is that? But on an island elsewhere, very large trees, we see... So we know who that is and probably where that is too. And you have to decipher the contents of the poneglyph message. That's these are very important places we're seeing.
Yes.
I'm gonna admit now I don't remember anybody's name. Make fun of me now. It's okay.
We can't make fun of you before you do.
Mayor Boodle.
We have to say.
Yep.
I hope that was the one you remembered. That's the important one.
Listen, it's the scene in SpongeBob where they you have to get rid of everything but fine dining and breathing. But that was Venture Bros with all of my One Piece memory. So I don't remember anything anymore. Okay, so we see Orange Town in the East Blue. Well, long ago, there were 20 kings who got together and they created the world. Doesn't that man know that? What do you think, Choo Choo? And then we hear Ruff.
Oh.
And we have some of the Cujo.
The Hachiko's statue in the background with a straw hat, I think, on it.
Oh yeah, that's a good eye.
And the transponder snail. And the transponder snail with the Shushu logo on it. I would want one of those. That's fantastic.
That is actually very cute. Good eye.
Thank you.
I'm not doing the accent. I can't.
Could you try?
Yes, you are.
Could you try it?
Look, I'm going to try it, and I suck at it. It's just unabashedly.
I'm really bad at accents.
Look, no one's listening to this. It's fine.
However, the world government has made it Josh has made it a crime of the highest order to decipher the message of the poneglyphs. And despite being a member of the government myself, I broke this law. That was my second sin.
You're right. This is a very funny panel.
Only you can prevent my second sin.
And then we see Robin and Brooke and Nami and Lilith through the sheer tenacity of a group of excellent archaeologists. I inherited some texts and a number of poneglyphs, which I have deciphered. And Robin's like, that sounds kind of familiar. We have Brooke, Zoro, Jinbei, and continued studying to the best of my ability. I regret none of this. History, you see, tells a story. We get a faraway shot of the sunny and wait, something moved, and then a zerp.
Puff, I think, is the more important sound effect.
Yes, as clouds are puffing, and
they're both.
Nami, look, are the clouds extending outwards? We could see there's a little runway forming. So when Edison said he would make sure we touched down on the water, he meant Usopp, Oh, he has his little eureka moment. Good point. If the clouds stretch farther out, we can reach the sea. We see Edison tired out, and he's like, now get off this island, Straw Hats, and don't let the world government lay a finger on you. He's so cute.
Love Edison.
I want a doll of him.
Me too.
Sure.
And I'm kind of upset.
Gotta
I'm glad he's getting. I'm sure he has one, but I'm glad he's getting a moment here because I feel like Edison has been far too underutilized generally in this.
Yeah,
arc. You could say that about a lot of.
If you don't look like a person, a Vegapunk, then you're just standing around. So.
Oh no, we got Amazon Lily in this page too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we had Margaret earlier. We all remember that's the 9th or 10th Straw Hat. We all know she joined the crew back then. Yeah. I think those are all the Easter eggs there, right? I do like the diagram with Usopp. I'll say.
Yes,
makes it
it actually was great visualization for me.
Yeah, like it was extremely necessary that something like that was there because the 3-dimensionalness of this island is sometimes difficult. Anyway, I'm going to try the accent and you could all laugh. In other words, what I know is an incomplete story of the 100-year void. It would be dishonest to fill in the blanks with my own speculation, so I will leave you only with the verified truth. The main character of this story is Steve Urkel. Was born into a kingdom with impossibly advanced civilization 900 years ago. I should probably stop saying this because it's impossible to understand.
I love it. You sound like Nightcrawler.
Oh, okay, I'll keep going then. That's kind of what I'm going for, I think. That's
Kurt Wagner.
Yes. I think that's right. I think Alan Cummings is a good surrogate for. Wow, I know some comic book movies. Zyke, the sun god Nika, spoken of in the Elbaf legend, he fought with a stretched body, stretched and contracted. His name was Joy Boy. And he was the very first man on the sea to be called a pirate. And I wanted to at least say that all. I guess this chapter would be pretty boring if you just read the text of the speech. You know, it would just be telling and not showing. It's fun to see all the chaos happening in the background as well. So I'll just go through it quick. At the top, pan out of Egghead and the Elbaf ship next to a lot of the marine ships. You have this same panel of Vegapunk we've seen 3,000 times already in the last 2 chapters of his adorable face with his little blushed cheeks. We're all Vegapunk stands here, right? Yeah. And then okay. And then
the Luffy's fighting Mercury in the background the whole time too.
Yeah, and that's also happening. You have Brogy saying, "Hey, Straw Hat, don't push your luck," as he looks back and. And Luffy's like, this one'll hurt you, and punches him straight in the snout, which, to be fair, probably one of the places that should hurt him. As Dory and Brogy look back, ooh, that's going to hurt, is what they say. But in fact, it hurts Luffy once again, as everyone is laughing, including Luffy, that he has injured his hand once again in the same way, like the way you stub a toe.
Doesn't look like he's laughing at me.
He's saying Giga. Or maybe that's all.
No, that's Dory and Brogy.
Dory.
Yeah,
he's
his hands on fire.
His eyes. Look at him.
He's his hands on fire.
To be fair, he's Nika, and everything's funny, including pain. And yeah, you see him crying in the next panel. And I do like that Vegapunk shot there with the 3-dimensional mustache. It is a good shot. And that concludes the chapter. We are off next week, so that's the bad news. So we won't be able to find out what happens next here. But first, thoughts on the chapter. Kdin, I'll start with you.
I love when they do the like explanation stuff, just like very very like out there in the open. I like when One Piece is just like, hey, you need a lot of information right now, and it always tends to do like with spectacle in the background. So this is just another like tried and true info dumping with a ton of really fun, cool action shots. And I'd love to see like some of the stuff without like the text bubbles everywhere, especially that big punch right at the end with Luffy. I love when Luffy does like any big punch with Luffy is just amazing and immaculate and fantastic, and I need more of it. So I'd love to see that one like without the text bubbles around it. But overall, like this is just a fun like realization of a lot of theories that people have had over the course of One Piece's creation. So it's like, yes, we finally get the actual information from the horse's mouth. We get to learn all this stuff. So now we can move on to the fact that the planet is, kind of sinking into itself.
I mean, I gotta
Now
say,
everyone dies.
Vegapunk doesn't tell us anything in this chapter we don't already know.
That's true.
No,
but he does
the
tell
world
everybody
doesn't.
else.
He's teasing
yeah,
it.
That's
He's teasing it.
Yeah. Well, I guess the last page contains some new information for the reader, but
It's a sneaky short chapter too. It's only 14 pages.
It felt long.
It did.
I'll say, like reading through it. It is text heavy. Kdin, did you have anything else? Sorry.
No, I think that was also it's nice to see everybody and see like a good reaction. Like I like when they do the like here's what everybody else is doing during these moments, because it gives like context to the rest of the world and where they're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun that we specifically see, I think, a lot of the Straw Hats visited, with a couple of exceptions of like random place A, random place B. Steve, what did you think?
I don't know. I'm not a good one to ask for this chapter.
Okay, I'll go to someone else then. I'm joking.
Mean, my opinion's not going to change over a few minutes. The revelations are, it's getting juicy, of course, every little morsel we're getting every week. I'm like, yeah, okay, more. But it's just so like, it feels very, well, this week you're going to get the next sentence, and then the following, or 2 weeks from now, you get the other sentence. The Mother Flame thing is obviously the biggest reveal here, and that's like fascinating. The fact that apparently there's this flame that doesn't that could survive in water. Yeah. So looking forward to how that goes. It's very around the world, getting like, this is how this character's reacting. It almost feels like a YouTube compilation of reactions, which I in One Piece I care about because I like these characters, but I don't care about
on YouTube not
anyone else's reactions. Yeah, ever. Joy Boy, of course, being tied to like, a civilization from so long ago. I think we kind of knew that already. Like he was around since then. I mean, well, he's talked about in the poneglyphs, like, or not sure if he was talked about on the poneglyphs, but I think we always knew he was from that time. Mm-hmm. So I think kind of this was just finally getting confirmation for that. But other than that, I don't know. I don't really feel all that strongly about this chapter. I was like happy to see One Piece back. I think I was kind of bummed knowing like we're getting another break, and I don't think that's the fault of the story here. It
was Golden Week last week.
Yeah, it was Golden Week. Well, this coming issue.
This is a break.
Yeah.
I think though I think Stephen mentioned this. By the way, everyone should listen to the SGS from last week in particular. We're going to have another one next week, so we're lucky on that. That's with Greg and Stephen. They were talking about how they do even though there's that week break for those holidays, the chapter came out, right after the last one. So I think in production-wise, Oda didn't really stop. It's just the magazine that slowed it down here.
But I'm sure what this chapter really is meant to do is just to get people talking about, theories and all that. And, like, that's all well and good. I just don't think I have anything interesting really to contribute in that discussion. So,
any art that you want?
No.
That's fair.
No, there's no art here. Sorry.
That's it, Steve.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, there was no art. Josh.
I like this chapter a lot. I'm a batch reader, so I read like the last 15 chapters today in preparation for this. And something that I think
you meant chiclet is the
I'm not saying that word. I think what's really exciting about this whole like movement of the story, the past 10 or so chapters, and especially once Vegapunk's broadcast started, is that one of the reasons that One Piece is so successful is that the way that Oda is telling this story, he finds all different kinds of strength, right? Like we see, obviously, like the heavy hitters have physical strength. Robin and Usopp and Nami are very clever. Like there's all the story goes out of its way to find ways to give how community can be strength, how family can be strength, how tradition can be strength, all of these things. And what I think is so good about Egghead, and particularly this current movement of the story, is that information is also strength, because Luffy himself, and clearly as we see in the last few chapters, Luffy himself cannot topple these five elders. He can't even seem to hurt them for whatever reason. But this broadcast by Vegapunk is a world-shifting event. This is information that was never supposed to get out. He is using this information as a way to inform people, and that is more damaging to the world government than anything else at this point in the story. So it's just another way for him to show, like, sort of like peel back another layer and be like, there's more. I mean, as much as we love the big punchies, and we got them in this chapter, this is a big punchy for people's brains, for the hearts and minds of the world.
Like it. A big punchy for the brain.
Yeah.
That sounds painful.
Yeah. Hard truths are
else, Josh?
painful. No, that's true.
Vero.
Like Josh, I recently caught up again. I don't know. It's kind of already said what I wanted to say. I don't know why. It gave me the warm fuzzies a little bit. I was very excited. That last page just put a big smile on my face when I was reading it. Thought it was really cute to see. I like when he shows us what the rest of the world is up to and like what everybody's doing and their reactions to the information. Got to see Polly, so we're on top. Poly heads.
Oh, we're winning.
Yeah.
We're winning.
Rope heads.
I was surprised that wasn't
On
mentioned.
top.
Rope heads.
Yep. We're not going to question that one. I
was going to.
thought it was cool that. What did you say that pretty celestial dragon lady's name was?
Sharu,
Yeah.
the ugly dude's sister, I think.
Perfect. I'm sorry for giving them a compliment, by the way.
They're all ugly.
I don't know why I thought that they would be aware of what happened in the Void Century, because like obviously that would not align probably with their beliefs about themselves as people. But I thought it was interesting that we see her being like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on? And that was the one thing that
I'm glad
I
you mentioned
did
that.
the little Metal Gear noise. I was like, whoop, feel like, I want to see their reactions more. They're probably gonna feel like this is blasphemy and all that. He's really edging us. He's really edging us with the Void Century information. Don't make that face. Just like,
Can you guess who was making that face, listeners?
I just, I'm excited to know, I guess. I still stand by my, lately I know you guys were saying that you find this to be much more digestible reading it weekly and like sitting and pondering on it, but I am like, I need like every 4 chapters or so. Like I've been reading it like kind of monthly, just so I can.
I don't think I said that.
No, well,
I agree with
somebody
you.
here said
I think
that.
Joey.
Maybe
I think Joey said
it.
that.
Sorry, you being.
Yeah, let's call out Joey.
Yeah, Joey, if you're out there.
No, I agree with you.
Um,
It's just that I haven't, and I think Steve said the same thing. I haven't had that opportunity.
Sure.
In a decade and a
Yes.
half to do that. It's unfortunate.
It's okay.
But,
I was just about to say something.
sorry.
It's okay.
That's my
It's the ADHD. Would have left me anyway.
fault. I have.
This is. I don't mean this to be a criticism. I sort of find the action as of late to be a little unreadable for me personally.
I agree.
I will admit, I already kind of struggle interpreting action in like a manga into visual movement in my mind. But lately I'm like, good God, what am I looking at? So it helps to read them in batches. So I'm like, okay, we got a whole chapter of everybody running around, switching places and doing big punchies. And then also I get to have the Vegapunk being like, and the world is flooding. So it's, yeah. I don't know. Made me happy.
I think these chapters are good in spite of that. That's kind of like that's.
It's not the point.
I'm a little spoiled because of Dragon Ball reading through that quickly. Sorry, Ed.
These are not fight chapters. It's like
Well,
No,
fighting
they're
is-
not.
Yeah,
But
fighting is
no,
barely
I mean,
happening.
I'm spoiled in that I agree with you. The thing I like about One Piece, and I've said this the entire time, is not the fighting.
Yes.
That is not why I read
I
One
think
Piece. The reason you're... Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I think when I read, I sort of tunnel vision and I read all the text first, and then I go back and I have to look at the pictures, and it's literally just because that's how like my brain processes the information. And I think I feel bad doing if I can't clearly immediately. It's a me thing. Like, this is not a criticism of Oda. This is just it's been more enjoyable to read in
We're allowed to
batches.
criticize Oda.
But-
You criticize your friends, so they are able to improve
my
themselves.
good friend Oda.
Yeah, your good friend
Yeah.
Oda. You
Yeah.
guys hang out on weekends. This chapter is unique though, Vero, because it also has that running monologue with him. I don't think that's common in One Piece chapters generally. Like, I did read this one that, where I read the text from. It's like, if I don't read the text from Vegapunk and start just reading it panel to panel, I'm not gonna grasp what he's trying to say.
Like, I think that's why you went and you were like, I'm just going to read all the text and then process the information of what's happening on these pages when you were reading.
The only reason I mentioned Dragon Ball is because that is just such the most sublime example of how you do action in a really digestible. And look, Dragon Ball has its problems mostly at the beginning, but it is. I'm getting spoiled now. I'm probably good that I didn't read it years ago, and just how it's able to do action. I think Oda used to be a little bit better at that, but you know what? I do think that is secondary. As I said, it's good in spite of that. Ed, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to say from the cover page, it looks like Yamato's in a Mentos commercial, just doing the thing with the Mentos.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, they could
Yamato
be
fresh.
Yeah, it could be in that Foo Fighters video.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Everlong?
Yeah, no, it's Big Me from first album.
Oh, Big Me. You're right.
Yeah, but it's interesting that this chapter is all about Vegapunk telling the world what we already, as readers of the series, kind of know. And it's interesting to see the difference in the reactions between, the sort of the lower people who either are, concerned or find it amusing, or like Boodle's, I guess, granddaughter thinks it's that's not right. Some people are just going to be like, well, some people are so far out away from the center of power that it's like, what can they even do? Are they even gonna? Why would they believe? I mean, he said it, but I mean, who is he besides some voice or he was talking about being on video and being perceived, and I guess he's projecting an image of confidence, or he has this legend. But realistically, why should any of these people trust him? I mean, I guess he's kind of a legend in the world of One Piece, but what has Vegapunk done for me, honestly?
It feels very on the nose of the climate change message that comes from people who are like, yeah, we know these people are smart scientists, but why should I? Well, they're just a guy.
Yeah, it does definitely elicit those same vibes.
Yeah, it's
on purpose.
I said,
Yeah.
I think I
Very
said
on
this-
brand for Mocktown.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
like,
I mean-
I'm glad Oda didn't forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I have a town of ridicule I could use.
Yeah, Steve, I went to Mocktown and everyone there knew you.
Yeah, but then
Sorry,
there's the more important people, or the people who actually have the opportunity to affect events to come. We have Doflamingo, he's a celestial dragon. We have the Fishman royal
He's in
family.
jail.
Well, no, but also the fishmen are gonna you'd think that they would everyone's gonna be on their level when this is over if what he's saying is true. So Neptune's reticence is it's interesting. Like if this happened, he'd be the king of the rubble, I suppose. But Vegapunk is, he doesn't seem to have. He doesn't know what's going to happen with when people have this information. That's why he only allowed it to be played after he was dead. I think that he can keep working in the shadows as long as he's alive, but there isn't anybody like him, so it's going to be out in the open once he's gone. And it's just, what is the Mother Flame? We don't really know, but it does have the big Akira vibes going down into only if it was like in deep freeze would it be more Akira
That's
like.
flame. That's kind of
the opposite,
the exact opposite. Yeah.
But we get the teases of Emu's in this chapter and Saul's in this chapter. A lot of giant stuff, so it's just gonna be Elbaf or bust, and we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I like the conceit of Vegapunk's speech being going over the world, and you get to see everybody sort of have a reaction to it, and extremely important characters. So, and with all the people that the Straw Hats have interacted with.
I want to hear from Shoo Shoo.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did. Shoo Shoo, I love.
Mm-hmm.
Ed, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
I apologize if I'm going to be talking a longer time because this is more my kind of chapter, I guess.
I'll get a drink.
You're all free to leave. I'll stay here and talk into a microphone. Wow, Ed is literally leaving. Going off of Ed's first point, even though he's not here, the transponder snail thing and the thing around the world, it was really interesting in earlier chapters that they had they emphasized the video transponder snail thing and how they had to go find one, and that was like a specifically important thing. So far it has just been Vegapunk talking into the camera, so I am curious where that's gonna go, because I assume a shoe's gonna drop regarding that. The second thing that popped into my head, I think from what Ed was just talking about, the King of the Rubble kind of thing, I think it's really interesting with Shirahoshi and Poseidon.
Oh, shit, I forgot one thing. The robot's back.
I was going to mention that if you didn't.
Yeah,
so
Ed came back to the room to interrupt you and remind us all.
Yeah,
of this.
Goddamn
really,
robot.
thank you.
And he didn't, and
Yeah.
he was just being real cool, so I like that.
Only 20 years of friendship allows for that kind of interruption. Or me. Because I do that constantly. No, I agree. The robot, very interesting that, I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious that nothing would affect it. The connections to Joy Boy are like really coming together. I mean, you got Zunisha, you got obviously Luffy, you've got the stuff with Kuma, you have the robot who for some reason also, Joy Boy, much like Luffy, I guess, made his inroads and knows a lot of people. I think we mentioned it before. Joy Boy wrote on a poneglyph that apology letter that we never really saw the details of, that Robin knows. But also was on Fishman Island. What I was going to say about your...
Was that the poneglyph that Jinbei took from Fishman Island, or was that the other one?
No, that was the other one, I think. Okay. Yeah, I think. No, he didn't take it from Fishman Island, Jinbei. He found it along the way, I think, at like a sunken town or something, which actually, wow, that might be impactful since the world is sinking. That might be a thing, but we'll see. I don't know. Everything underwater is important, I guess. But yeah, no, Shirahoshi commanding as Poseidon, commanding a bunch of sea kings while the world is underwater, or falling underwater, or whatever it's doing, is a really interesting dynamic. And I wonder if Poseidon was created. I think we talked about this last time. The raise a flag against the sinking world being the potential thing that Lily, Nefertari Lily, said in that message that Cobra mentioned and got cut off at. I think there's a lot of really cool possibilities there for how Poseidon is used in particular. I think one of the things that left me with more questions than answers, we were talking about the idea of why, when you make a giant hole in the ocean, does the sea level rise? And I keep going back and forth between, I think it has to be related to what happened on the Lucia, because the way that Oda unless he's did one of his very confusing panel layout things. He does set that up at the same time. We see that, sinking hole, and at the same time we hear about the earthquakes around the world. And just thinking off the top of my head now, I'm wondering if maybe the sea level's not rising, but the earth is sinking. Could also be a possibility. The earthquake around the world idea feels really nuts to me. It's a much more fantasy sci-fi kind of thing than what's happening with climate change. Though equally,
when you bring that up with, it's not necessarily that the water's rising. It's like the earth is sinking. Does that have anything to do with say these mother flame attacks on islands? It it hits one of them and sinks it, and it slowly makes others because everything's kind of all connected into, dare I say it, one piece.
Yeah, that might work. No, that might work. You said the title. A One Piece podcast. I think it would be interesting. I think maybe it's affecting, tectonic plates or something in the crust or mantle of the planet, and that's what's causing it. Maybe it is disintegrating something under everything. I tend to think that Lelouch's just wiped off the face of the map because that was what they were implying. Not to say that, we have a very unreliable narrator there. It was Emu and the Five Elders. I really don't know. I think there's a lot of really interesting possibilities. Stephen and Greg last week also were mentioning, we don't know the time frame for this. No one has said, is it climate change? You got 50 to 100 years before you all die? Or is it happening next week?
Ziggy Stardust, we have 5 years left.
Yeah. Good song, too. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very good question, but everyone I feel like watching this seems to assume it's imminent for whatever reason. Ed pointed that Ed, you gave me a lot of good ideas despite interrupting me and leaving in the middle of me talking. I'm kidding. I really do like the girl. I didn't completely get it, I think, the first time I read it. I like the girl commenting no, this thing that I was told in school has to be the correct thing. I think that's a really neat parallel to the real world in that, no, what I learned in school has to be correct. There's no counter to that. I can't believe this random guy. Well, to be fair, sometimes random people on TV are wrong. So you don't always want to go with that. But I thought that was an interesting thing. Also, there's a hat on the Orangetown building, also a straw hat there, for those looking for straw hats. The last thing I want to say is I was having a discussion on Discord this past week with a few fans who I'll credit. Wisdom Pythagoras and a few others, I think.
Some Dispiece contributors.
His name. Yeah. And we were kind of going through the idea. At the time I said the Mother Flame is related to Uranus, the last remaining of the ancient weapons. And I don't know if I made it clear last time that I thought the Mother Flame was the fuel that was behind that ancient weapon, which is why, in order to create more of them, or to continue using the one that the government has, they need the Mother Flame for that. And this chapter does a very good job at the parallel that I was making, in that you have an Einstein-like figure making a large weapon that technology could also be used for good, progressive, lowercase p, principles, in that, nuclear power has some, at the time, seemed like something that could have some really good uses for society. It technically is clean energy, and there's a lot of issues with it. Don't get me started. But for Einstein, that's probably what he was thinking. But it could also be used to kill and irradiate people and places. And so this is such a direct correlation. And I'm sure, as has been said about every piece of media in Japan, the connection, this is the first real connection I feel like we've had to Nagasaki and Hiroshima in the in the manga. It definitely feels like that's like, this is Einstein being like, I fucked up, which he did do, I think. He said, I fucked up when I did that. I was trying to do this, and this has turned into this. I should have known better. And I'm seeing it. I'm hoping it does backfire a little on the Five Elders. But I do like that connection a lot. And I think that's like one thing that was kind of confirmed a little more here. I mean, the title is the Wings of Icarus. Like that idea of I was trying to do something and I got a little too close to God or to real destruction. The last thing I want to mention is we've talked about the comparison between Nika and Joy Boy and what's what. That is something we kind of got confirmed here, is that Joy Boy was, I guess, what we've been calling a rubber fruit user, later termed human Nika fruit user.
Well, it assumes that there were devil fruits before the Void Century or during the Void Century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super curious. So, like, the other thing is so the world government didn't exist before the Void Century, right? After the whole thing we learned in Ennius Lobby, I think, was that the world government kind of, that whole 20 Kings thing that the girl is talking about happens at the end of the Void Century. But the thing is, before the Void Century, what was going on is also like, what was the state of the world? Why was this person the first one to be called a pirate? What was he pirating against if the world government hadn't been created yet? There are all really interesting questions. And specifically that they reference Nika, the sun god, being an Elbaf legend is interesting, because Nika was something passed down through the Buccaneers, which makes me think that the Buccaneers are indeed related to giants in some form or fashion, which I think we've posited in the past. All really interesting stuff. As Steve said, though, like this it's like another breadcrumb, and these chapters do all really go super well together. I don't think they exist super well on their own, because they're literally completing sentences from each other. Like, you can't. Anyway, any other thoughts on the chapter? Okay. I think we'll leave it there. We're going to do an anime recap piece together, and then Vero, are we doing Yaoi Thunderdome at the end?
I have been scrubbing AO3. I'm ready to quiz you all on your Yaoi knowledge.
Are you doing all right? Everything?
Oh, I saw some horrible tags from the depths of humanity, but I survived. Thank you for checking in.
No spoilers. Okay, I needed to check in. Okay, we'll get some more giggliness after these messages.
More robot.
This is the Triple Anime Recap for episodes 1102 through 1104. I am your host, Sam, and today with me we have none other than the last person you would possibly expect to be joining me on the anime recap today.
Who is
It's
it?
Ed.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah. Yep, it's good to be back on the anime recap. There's some exciting animation to talk about this week, at least in one of the episodes, yeah.
I would say a good batch of pretty interesting episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Although I'm going to have trouble remembering what happened in this first one, because I watched it like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm relying on my notes that I've been accruing.
Mm-hmm.
So, first up on the docket is 1102, Sinister Schemes, the operation to escape Egghead. And it opens with Kuma is flying through the sky, much like Luffy was when Kuma sent him flying towards Amazon Lily. But he sent himself flying this time, so...
He's like
long trip.
Like Tao Pai Pai.
Yes. But he doesn't even need the log.
Right.
He doesn't even need the tree. Back on Egghead, we're watching Vegapunk, and the half of the crew that's hanging out with Vegapunk right now, which is like Nami and Sanji and all them. they're watching CP0 on the monitors, and Vegapunk is very cavalier. It's like, well, I guess CP0's after me, and they're gonna kill me. When you're a genius, everybody hates you. That's just the way it goes.
Couldn't possibly be because of anything I did.
Oh no, he's. I think he's quite sober about the fact that it is about stuff he's done.
Yeah,
he's just like, well, what am I gonna do? Not do science?
Right.
Not be a genius? Come on, get a grip.
Yeah.
The crew, they're getting kind of excited by the idea of traveling with a new companion or 7. Frankie's, he wants Vegapunk to look at the General Frankie and the Sunny.
The Vegapunk scale in this scene is just messing with me. At certain points, I'm led to believe he's a normal-sized human, but he's like twice as large as any of the Straw Hats here, except Frankie.
Yeah. Or like he's like a cartoon squat old man.
Yeah.
But then like, oh, we're at eye level with his crotch also. And Robin concedes that they're basically Vegapunk's hostages right now, so it's in their best interest to just kind of go along with this request of his to hitch a ride.
Mm-hmm. But Nami's kind of against it because it's going to put a target on their back.
Mm-hmm. And then
Sanji makes like Sanji's being a goof. He's like showering hearts all over the place, and Nami's making this weird pouty face, as she's wont to do.
Luffy, Jinbei, and Chopper, they're now arriving in Vegapunk's lab too. They're getting close to reuniting with the others. And Bonney is, I gotta go look for Vegapunk because I gotta threaten to kill him and get him to change my father back. See you guys. And then she's off. And then before we move into the eye catch, right before then we bookend this first half of the episode with Kuma arriving at his destination. He crashes into the wall at Marijoa, the red port down below. And it's like very funny and like very, very animated the way he like hits the wall and then like spends a good minute like tumbling down it.
Oh yeah. He's they're putting a lot of effort into making Kuma look really cool here, despite, making him mysterious.
Well, he looks super goofy. I mean, like in a kind of pitiful way. Like, he's just got that little bit of humanity clinging into him, and he's on a mission, but he's also, just throwing himself at a wall. He is the shit being thrown at the wall to stick.
Yeah. And
then that brings us to the eye catch of the episode. And we come back, and CP0, they're contemplating their next move. They're like, okay, well, that fight with Straw Hat didn't go great. Lucci's, being very stubborn. He's like, I don't acknowledge Straw Hat as an emperor. And like, and Stussy's kind of off to the side, like, oh, you silly boys.
Yeah, that's not your call to make, there, Chief.
The Vegapunks up, the satellites, they're up talking amongst themselves, and they're also trying to contemplate their next move. They're like, okay, do we fight? Do we buckle down? Do we defend? Do we run away? Lilith is getting very gun happy, but Shaka's playing the cool-headed one, which is a good foil for Lilith.
Mm-hmm. Is this Prometheus who is like, well, nobody could possibly take down the Frontier Dome. No one can get in here. Well,
Pythagoras is like the big robot one. And Edison's like the little robot one.
Yeah. So it is Prometheus then. Yeah.
Pythagoras. Prometheus is the
Big Mom's thing,
son.
right? SUN.
They're arguing amongst themselves. Like Vegapunk is watching Sentomaru on the camera, like, I kind of feel guilty that you got hurt for me. But well-to-do. Edison's getting excited about an invention idea. The satellites are all kind of camaraderie with each other, and they all just like turn, and Vegapunk is just like suddenly on the phone with a mysterious someone. Like, oh, hey, did you get my message? All right, great. Looks like we're out. So his plan is in motion already. They're gonna hitch a ride with the Straw Hats. Sanji's excited to travel with Lilith, as am I. And suddenly an alarm goes off because, for reasons unknown, the Frontier Dome protecting the Labo phase, the kind of like protective film barrier thing that like it's just kind of like a
it's like an energy barrier, like
energy barrier
basically. And you mentioned, I think
that's going down, and neither CP0 nor the Vegapunks seem to have a clue as to why that would be.
So we mentioned Lilith, Pythagoras, and Edison, but York is there too, just eating or having eaten recently.
Yeah, every now and then they'll cut
York
to
patting her belly
of York. Yeah, York's like, yeah, I'm that was a good burger.
I'm here too.
And yeah, so CP0, they're like, well, might as well take advantage of the situation, even if it's a trap. We gotta at least find out that it's a trap for certain. So they moonwalk their way up to the sky. Stussy is quick to eye the Thousand Sunny, and Lucci wants to destroy it. Like, okay, yeah, let's nip their escape route in the bud there.
Yeah.
All the while, marine ships are arriving on their way to Egghead at the behest of Admiral Kizaru, wearing a very off-putting inverted colored suit.
I should also say that CP0 leaves the Seraphim behind down on the Fabrio phase, I suppose, because they don't want them around Dr. Vegapunk, because they would be outranked.
Right. Yes, that's like one of the anchoring, dramas of these episodes. Yeah. Is this like
control the Seraphim?
Yeah, like certain people can control the Seraphim if they are in earshot, and you gotta kind of gamify when and how that happens. So that's to be continued, and then the little like Lilith and Edison, children gather around segment. They're talking about Kizaru this week, and then
you're right about Kizaru's suit. It's too dark.
It's like banana yellow and olive green or something.
Kinda. He looks like the evil Waldo from the Where's Waldo.
Episode 1103. Turn Back My Father. Bonney's Futile Wish. And then this episode opens with Kaku getting on his hands and breakdancing a Tempest Sky Dancer at the Thousand Sunny. But, good thing Monsieur Roronoa Zoro was sleeping on that ship, because he, his snot bubble pops. He's immediately out of tension. He's immediately on like the rail of the Sunny, and he, slashes the slash. He deflects it.
And this is some of the stuff that the anime can do, of like Brooke doing chores and cleaning the kitchen while Zoro sleeps on the deck. Yeah. But while, of course, he would be able to wake up at a moment's notice, obviously, if the ship were to be attacked. But like Brooke is, he may as well be wearing an apron, just tidying the kitchen up down there. It's just very funny for an 11-foot tall skeleton.
Mm-hmm. Luffy is now that he's finally reuniting with the rest of the crew. Like, oh hey guys, long time no see. It's been like 20 episodes.
Has it been that long?
Luffy.
Wow.
It might have been. I don't know. That might be an exaggeration, but
if you include the specials, maybe.
Yeah. So Luffy he's like, oh yeah, by the way, have you guys seen Bonney around? That one pirate girl that we were hanging out with earlier? Yeah, let's find her, 'cause she's trying to kill Vegapunk. On cue, we cut to, elsewhere in the lab, where Bonney is chasing Vegapunk through the halls and swinging a big pipe at him, and they're flying in there with their rocket shoes.
It's like, when did he escape? He was just in the room with the rest of the Straw Hats. What happened?
Right.
I mean, it was that way in the manga too. It's just it's very abrupt.
She's very angry at him, and she's swinging her pipe, and he's narrowly dodging, and he's like afraid for his life, and she's very angry, and she's just like, I just want to know. I just want to ask you a question. Now put your head in the path of my pipe, please. But yeah, she's the thing she's trying to get down to the bottom of is can Vegapunk fix his father, and if he can, why is he not? Can she make him? And Vegapunk regretfully is like, no, I can't do it. That's not in my power, unfortunately.
But I have a good reason.
You just I have a good reason. You just have to trust me. It's doctor-patient confidentiality and all that. And then in the chase, Vegapunk ends up pratfalling through a couple rooms and then down some stairs into this more kind of industrial basement part of the lab.
He does a good Olay job on Bonney. She crashes into the wall and he uses his shoes, but he can't. He's somehow suddenly unable to control himself, so he just sort of flies down the stairs into this other chamber.
And that brings us to the eye catch of the episode. We come back to a brief flashback of quote unquote young Vegapunk when he still had his full head of hair and his full head of head.
Well, less of it at least.
Yeah, and so this is like sometime when he was a rogue scientist sailing on this very tall but very small steamboat thing that has presented by Lufeld written on it. I wonder if it's supposed to be Dufeld.
It's been spelled. It's been spelled both ways when Oda writes things in Romaji.
But in the present, Vegapunk is picking himself up from his crash, and Bonney is now a little child, and she's crying, and she's got a boo-boo on her knee, and Vegapunk is immediately sympathetic, oh no, I'm sorry, are you okay? Let's get you packed up. I got some Band-Aids in my wallet here, and then but it's all a trap, It's all the ploy. She's just messing with him.
She pumps up to giant size and does the
distorted future.
Does the Kuma
goes
Kuma pose?
Incredible Hulk. Yeah. She's got Kuma proportions.
Mm-hmm.
And she impales Vegapunk with the pipe this time.
He turns into a wee little baby,
and he pops open like a piñata, and a bunch of candy falls out. And that candy is apparently his age, his life experiences. And when they fall out of him, he is now a young baby, or like a toddler.
Yeah, she took away his mustache. He can see it disappear.
He's a redhead.
Apparently,
he is very strange to think that somebody like Vegapunk could have ever been like a child.
Yeah, it's weird.
And so this turns into a very kind of emotional scene as Bonney is grabbing baby Vegapunk by the collar and shaking him and yelling at him, and he's pleading I swear, there's reasons why I can't help you out here. There's reasons why we did what we did, and I know that this isn't going to be satisfying to hear, but that's all I can tell you. And Bonney is holding true, staying stubborn.
I made a promise to your father, basically, is what he says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you wouldn't ask me to break a pinky promise,
right.
Now would you?
But back to Kuma. We see him climbing up the red line there.
But yeah, this scene concludes with Bonney overhearing a buzzer somewhere around the corner, and that leads her to the red door with the conveniently Kuma logo-esque paw print on it. And she, I guess, somewhere in her powers, her age powers, she can oil up a lock and degrade it and destroy it and walk into the room.
I just thought it was rust. I thought that's what that was.
Well, it's she rusts it, but it's like oily shock was the name of the.
It must be some sort of Japanese pun.
I
don't get.
Yeah, and inside the room is a big orange paw-shaped balloon, not unlike the one we saw Zoro have an encounter with back in Thriller Bark.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of pain, perhaps. We'll see.
And we cut away to a certain sea area, New World, and it is the familiar Kid Pirates ship. Their big shark skeleton ship thing, as they are going through the big waves. They're arriving at a place of some sort, a location, you might say.
A location with giant fish that are not sea kings.
And you got Killer holding a map, which is a very funny image.
How much can he even see? You know.
Right. And he's like, "Hey, Captain, we're here." And then kid who's like kind of like sleeping on some just bags and stuff. He like wakes up and he's like, "Oh, what? Huh?" It's like we're at the island that we've been trying to reach, Elbath.
Oh.
And now at this point, the audience is like, "Oh, okay, I know what that is." And then we cut to Naval Branch G14, and we got Vice. She's a Vice Admiral, right? Vice Admiral Dahl.
I think so. Definitely Dahl.
Yeah, what? Hold on, I want to confirm this. She's not Garp's rank, is she? I mean, not that.
Well,
Garp's rank
everyone
reflects his real.
Nobody's on Garp's rank.
She is a Vice Admiral. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. So Dahl, she's talking to somebody on the phone. Meanwhile, Hibari is curled up against the wall, like kind of crying and worrying about Kobe, who has been captured by Blackbeard. And then a certain somebody arrives at the port of G14, and it's Garp, and you got Hibari and Helmeppo at the window, both just like sobbing tears, like, "Oh, Garp, Kobe got taken away. We gotta do something." And then Garp is like just pumping his fists, like, "You're damn right, we're gonna do something." Even if it goes against all Marine code, even if it means
and Dahl's like,
breaking the rules, we're going to what do they call it? The Pirate Island of the Beehive or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like that Dahl.
It's Crunchyroll's translation.
Dahl's like, "Garp, do you have permission for this mission?" It's like, "I don't need permission." It's like, "I don't need permission for it."
Yeah. I got permission. My fist perm and my other fist mission.
I have this permit here. Like, this is just a piece of paper that says I can do what I want.
Stop. Yeah, he's trying to get them in the fighting spirit. It's like, "Stop crying. How pathetic are you? Let's go to Pirate Island." To be continued.
Save Kobe.
And the Lilith and Edison scene this time is talking about Eustace Kid.
I skipped this one. You gotta say.
I just scroll to like see what they're talking about, so we can catalog it.
Some of it's interesting. Other parts are just reading off of the Fever cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to like that we have like the anime, giving us kind of like this information that otherwise exists in these like kind of very peripheral data book type stuff.
Yeah, they show
like showing kids devil
exactly.
Fruit,
That's what
you'd only see in like the magazine or something.
Which is actually really cool looking because his power is all fucked up.
It's got like barbed wire on it and stuff.
Yeah,
that was probably fun to eat. Episode 1104. A desperate situation. The Seraphim's all-out attack. This is like my pet interest. Is just every time they use the a desperate situation as part of an episode title.
You were saying it's happened. It's like the 13th time, 14th time.
Yeah, this is. I can't remember the exact count. Like it's more than we're past 11 uses of it in the anime, and like I estimate we're like probably around like 12, 13 now. Yeah. Zettai Zetsume. A desperate situation. If they when they don't know what else to call the episode, because it has to be 2 sentences long. That's obviously there's just that's just one of the rules of naming episodes in television, right? But sometimes you don't have 2 sentences worth of ideas for your title, so you just throw in a desperate situation. It works for everything.
Yep.
We get a flashback to Kuma in Vegapunk's lab. They're having a very interesting and very confidential meeting. And they're talking about the soul. Like Vegapunk's like, "Oh, did you know that in the West Blue there's this scientist who suggested that when a person dies, they lose 21 grams of weight?"
Wasn't that a movie?
So we it's like a Will Smith movie, or 7 pounds is the Will Smith movie. What's 21 grams is? It's like an old like scientist like wives' tale kind of thing.
It's a 2003 American psychological drama directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu with Sean Penn and Naomi Watts. It sounds like a classy movie.
Classy movie from the man who made Birdman.
Exactly. That's a great movie too.
the 21 grams thing is like sort of a.
It's a folktale.
It's a wives' tale. It's a sort of a pseudoscience that movie is referencing. And then in the present day, Bonney is slowly approaching this bubble. Just kind of like looking at it in awe, like her she's past the point of being angry. Now she's just kind of confused.
Yeah, we get like a 2-minute recap of, and even after the title card, it's stuff that was shown in other episodes. I think they've been doing that title card like right after the opening song, and this one they pushed it back a little bit, but they, when that kind of thing happens, it makes me feel like we're definitely getting something, some Sakuga with probably later in the episode, and I was right.
And Vegapunk's baby Vegapunk is in the background, like, no, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Something terrible will happen if you get any closer. And then we're back in the flashback as Vegapunk is like begging Kuma, like, please, you do your papa power thing to make a memory bubble for me, please. Give me the a far more intimate version of your diary, please. I'm a doctor. It's okay. Elsewhere, Zoro and Kaku. In my notes, I wrote Zoro and Kaku are going ham, cutting up cactuses and shit. So they got a pretty fancy looking fight going on here. And back in the lab, as we mentioned before, Shaka is like, okay, well, push comes to shove, we've got. We're higher on the totem pole for ordering the Seraphim around, right? Like CP0 is below us, so like if we're in the same room with them, then like the Seraphim are ours. Back to Redport, Marijoa, Kuma is, just climbing the wall, getting shot at by Marines, falling, climbing back up. He's getting very tired. Like they're really expressing how like exhausted he is, and like he's got like this really dramatic streak of sweat going down. He's like beating his head against the wall to like catch his breath while people are still shooting at him. But he's gonna do it. He's gonna get to the top there. He doesn't feel like a brain dead cyborg so much right now.
Yeah.
Back to our eye catch. Back in the lab. I noticed this episode has like been coming back to this one exact like talking shot of Nami, where she's like kind of got her like chin angled up and she's like looking out of the corner of her eye. I don't know why that's like the shot they kept coming back to.
Huh. I didn't notice that. Sanji is very I don't know. He's very baby girl in this episode. I noticed it draw. I don't know. His hair is growing out. Maybe they're drawing that more. I'm not sure. But he's been very goofy the last few episodes. So he does the Sanji Film thing. Yeah, I love that little diagram of him and Moss Head at the bottom. Yeah, you'll never take orders from him. Sometimes he'll listen to the men, but he always takes.
Yeah, it's the Seraphim hierarchy of control, like right next to the Sanji hierarchy of control, and it's just Nami with an arrow going straight down.
I think Robin's on there too, but I like the one with him. Happy Sanji has the heart for an eye, but like angry Sanji at the bottom has got like he's picking his nose with his pinky finger. It's very goofy. I like it.
So everyone's kind of like running off to participate in their part of the fight. Like Usopp and Frankie are like, okay, I guess we gotta go. First Frankie's like, oh my god, Zoro and Brook, they're fighting on the Sunny. I gotta go help protect them. And then Usopp has this moment of like, oh yeah, I guess I should do that too, huh?
I'm gonna protect this room right here.
like he's mad at Frankie for doing the like. The selfless thing, because now he's like, okay, now I would look terrible if I didn't do that too. Which has finally not really stopped Usopp before from running away from conflict.
No, you get to awaken Kaku now.
Yeah, Kaku back in action with a beard.
The beard does not appear normally, but when it's awakened,
the awakening black flames. Form it like a beard, like how like Luffy's in Gear 4 Luffy's like hockey forms these like tribal tats.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh yeah.
I guess the awakening flames can like form facial hair if that's your style.
Well, I mean, Zoro does notice he basically turns into his neck is like a dragon, like Kaido was. He's sort of spinning and twirling that way.
Yeah, and Zoro's clashing with Kaku, who's got a very hard hockey nose.
Mm-hmm. It looks very cool, and they get to reuse some very cool Wano animation as well.
Mm-hmm. And then we appear. The CP0 is now, the rest of CP0 with Zoro distracted. They're able to approach the Leppo phase, and the animation is really striking here.
It's very different,
like
and it's very compelling.
Like it's not like like there's let's see, I wrote some names here. Like Akihiro Ota is like the guy who traditionally is known for this very like liquidy style.
It's very.
But this is actually a different animator. This is Shinosuke Tanaka, who I guess is just taking inspiration from the former. I guess, and putting his own spin on it.
It kind of looks like
it's not just like the fluidness; it's like the really, the very kind of unnatural like compositions of, like when it's like the group shot of the Seraphim, it looks like an eye catch. It looks like a promotional like eye catch like you'd see in like a Gurren Lagann or
I know what you mean.
Or like a very, very high production, high classy like magical girl thing or something.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking it kind of looked like the work of
Peter Chung. It looks like it belongs on a lunchbox, but then the camera pulls out and it becomes like an action shot.
Mm-hmm. It pauses kind of at weird places when the Seraphim attack, I think, as well. But I don't know, they're just animated this. I find it very. It's very fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. So the Seraphim are unleashing their attacks on the building at Lucci's behest, while Zoro and Kaku are having their fight. But Zoro and Kaku do not have their fight for long because the Predator heat vision has shown up. Except the Predator is a hot lady named Stussy, who is a vampire.
I think,
or a succubus.
I think she's a bat.
Or a bat.
She has the wings,
or a chimera.
Kinda. I mean, I just assumed it was like a vampire bat, like awakened.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's not awakened, but it was a vampire bat power. That's what I thought it was.
Like a cousin to the smile fruit, like a false, like the Seraphim, like a false devil fruit, maybe, or maybe it's a real devil fruit.
Maybe it's like a like a legendary vampire Zoan, human vampire Zoan.
So she turns on CP0. She's not quite so, her allegiance is flimsy, it turns out. She's a double agent of some kind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not sure
because she's attacking her own crew.
Yeah. This is, I think, a reference to her being the first successful clone. Perhaps she was born here on Egghead. She's definitely got a connection to Vegapunk, based on. She was the first.
And we're given this information by way of the longest Oda box probably ever.
Double Oda box. There are two different boxes.
Yeah, it takes two in the anime screenshot, and it's all lumped together in one subtitle on Crunchyroll. So it's just like Mad's first successful clone Stussy, modeled after former member of I'm out of breath. Former member of Rock's Pirates, Miss Buckingham Stussy. It's like, okay, hold on. Like when you're reading this in the manga, and you get to you're reading it is the thing you're already doing anyway. So it's. You really have to pause the anime to get through it and realize there's like three whole plot twists in here.
Yeah, I love the way Lucci attacks her. Like they do this sort of sketchy thing, and you briefly see like the leopard, the fierce leopard attack, but she uses she sneaks out of that with like the paper art.
Yeah, his like leopard spirit animal is like coming forth to impress upon the audience that this is a big, crazy, important attack, and Stussy just no-sells him. Well, yeah, first of all, clone? Mads? Former member of Rock's Pirates?
Yeah.
Miss Buckingham? Stussy?
Yeah.
I know who Buckingham is. I didn't know her last name was her family or given name is Stussy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
Was she hot when she was young? or did they plant the anyway?
We haven't haven't seen that in the anime yet, but in the future.
Stussy is fighting Lucci now, and Lucci tries to finger pistol her, but she just phases past him. And I am the authority on like what kinds of fan services is okay and classy and cool to like,
sure.
and which ones are creepy and weird and lame to like. And I'm the authority, so like this is you can take my word for it. This is the cool kind. This is the good kind.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lingering shot of like the end of her dress, and you see a little bit of her ass with the like garter strap going up.
Yeah, it's
she like rubs her she like rubs herself against Lucci's back as she's stabbing him with the sea prism lipstick.
Mm-hmm. And then she takes a big old bite. Don't we all want to be bitten?
So yeah.
End of episode.
She's and Kaku is just down on the ground, and then Lucci just faints and falls on the ground like right next to him, and like they're
I like
Stussy and Zoro are across the scene from each other, staring like, what now? Are we enemies still, or what's going on here?
I like how Kaku she bites him, and he's in beast form, and he passes out in beast form. But when by the time Lucci's passed out too, he's just changed back. I guess he's passed out. Like, he can't maintain that form anymore.
Yeah. To be continued. And this week, the Lilith and Edison scene is about Stussy. Just being like, hey, remember when she seemed like a regular member of Big Mom's Tea Party? And then plot twist, she was CP0?
She was at Sanji's
And now
wedding.
plot twist, she's not actually CP0?
Yep. But she's definitely an interesting character. There's more to her, I think. I'm not sure if we're going to get that. More about Miss Buckin, I suppose.
General thoughts on these 3 episodes, Ed?
I really like that sketchy animation. That was very compelling to watch in the last episode. Other than that, they were sort of, a breezy watch, easy. Nothing that particularly annoyed me. So, these were fun.
I agree. I like even the non-crazy episodes were full of variety, right? Like you got the kid stuff, you got the Bonney and Vegapunk stuff, you got the flashback with Kuma, you got Garp, you got CP0. It's just new. It's a new thing happening in every scene, except for like every now and then they're like cutting to the Straw Hats, just kind of repeating their reactions to everything in the lab.
Yeah.
But like that's a pretty small part of a pretty jam-packed trio of episodes.
Definitely.
And then like the last 5, 6, 7 minutes of this most recent episode is like we're often saying, it's pretty crazy. It's like a new feeling from the One Piece anime. Yet again.
Yep, that's all I got.
Anything else you want to say before we move on to the next segment?
No, actually, I mean, we're going to have to do an official count at some point of Desperate Situation, but maybe another time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to retally that. All right, thank you, Ed.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's move.
All right.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories and send them straight to Major McCheese. Let's get started. Ed, what's our first segment?
Zach, that is Dispiece.
And this week we are starting with Usopp the Great, who says, "Har har har, OPP, 2 things. To protect my ancestors, I have declared Ohio fireproof. If you throw a fireball, it will bounce off and hit you for extra damage." By the way, referring to the fact that Ohio is the state we would wipe off the map or something if given the chance, I think, of all the states. Well, I forget the context.
Ohio's like a meme with Zoomers right now, specifically the state of Ohio.
Well,
I'm so in touch with today's youth.
How could we ever forget when the Buster Call destroyed the Library of Ohio?
That's the title. Anyway, okay, that's done. The other question that keeps popping up: who is the tactician on Blackbeard's cruise? Someone is coming up with an elaborate plan. Touch this person, take this item, etc. Does someone have future vision, or is someone just brilliant? Is it Teach? He seems pretty impulsive and not one for strategy, but maybe one part is smart and another dumb. Donate to our research fund. Yeah.
Aokiji, Kuzan.
I think but
candidate.
But he's too lazy to come up with something.
Is he? He's not a Marine anymore.
Yes.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to have
he's
justice.
still lazy.
Maybe
he
that's
doesn't
all
have
the
to
effort
have
he has
lazy
to
justice.
do.
But
He's pretty proactive these days. He moves around more than he did when he was an admiral.
it's fair enough.
That's
but he does
true.
have a giant penguin he rides on.
He's got a bike. too.
Great counterpoint. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Okay.
Kuzan
question.
quite quit the Navy
By fighting his boss.
because he's lazy.
It's
No, like,
pretty
he
loud
lost the
quitting.
fight, and then he kind of just like really half-assed.
He's like,
it
I'm
at that
done.
point.
You're right. No one kicked him out. He's just like,
Stop showing up to his shifts.
A millennial
Yeah.
icon.
It's awkward after you have
didn't sign up any new members to the discount program.
It's awkward when you fight your boss and lose, and then you have to continue working there. Take it from Larry David, who doesn't give a fuck. Next one from Enzel, who says, hey, OPP, a lot to unpack this chapter, but to me, the thing that stood out most was Doflamingo's line about most places being wiped out if water levels rise 5 meters. Think that's 5 more meters, or are we at 4 now? Or I guess like 4 more meters to go. Feels like a typical Oda countdown for how many times the Mother Flame weapon can be used before everything is completely fucked. Thoughts?
Actually,
I did.
no.
No, I didn't think of it that way. That would be clever. It's just like if we get like a couple feet, like on planet Earth, like New York City's done. So I thought it was just a figure of speech. But I like the timer idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good thought.
It's more Florida already is getting inundated. Yeah. Even
Yeah, but-
storms aside. Yeah.
I mean, Manhattan, they got to keep pumping shit out every day.
No, that's true. There are parts of Manhattan like that, but there are also like big, like very like tall, hilly parts.
Yeah,
that you'd be
Florida's already
surprised
below the
exist.
sea level, so
That's the thing.
Yeah.
In Louisiana.
It's all
and
the
we-
coast, guys. If we get like 4
That's
more
true,
feet of
we're all
ocean,
fucked.
it's all done.
There's a reason I moved inland.
Yeah.
And I seriously. Next question. Unless anyone had any other thoughts on that.
no, I actually
the gold.
thought that was great.
Oh, Sphere.
no, I was
Oh,
going
yeah.
to say,
No, it's
I
a
thought it
really
was great.
I agree. I hadn't thought of it like that, but Oda loves a countdown.
Yeah, this definitely feels like he's been building up to this eventual of just like there's always a ticking clock with Oda. So with the absence of a ticking clock most recently, this needs to invent a new one, and this is the new one in the long line of ticking clocks.
And as we learn from the real world, if your clock is too long, no one cares, which is a problem. Next one comes from the Golden Cram, who says, ahoy, OPP. After a while of forgetting to do disc pieces, I have returned. Banger chapter as always. I get emotional seeing Saul, but even more so seeing Best Boy Shushu. Speaking of Saul, do you think he might have any scars? I was actually thinking about this. Or other recognizable injuries that Oda's covering up by showing him from behind here. And how ready are you all to weep like a baby when he finally sees Robin again? Or the other way around. Have a lovely week.
I got the box of tissues at the ready.
I feel like I've been waiting for this since we got Robin's backstory. I'm just like, he can't possibly be gone.
I thought
There's
he
no
was.
way.
I
They're
love
gonna-
you.
they're gonna run at each other
denying
in
it.
slow-
Yeah.
They're gonna run at each other in slow motion. And it's gonna be funny because he's like 300 meters taller than she
He's
is.
gonna get there in 2 steps, but she's gonna, yeah.
I reread her flashback recently until the part where I weep like a baby, and I'm like, no, I'm not reading that part. But the panels with him and Little Robin are just so funny and so great and so sweet. And yeah, that is gonna make me weep like a baby when that
Do
happens.
you think we're gonna get a panel of her doing the
The laugh.
She laugh again with like this, like parallel to that, like her an adult doing the exact same thing she did last when she was a kid when we got that flashback. Just a redo of that as an adult seeing live.
I would like for that to happen.
Yeah.
Also, I hope that now that she has her powers developed sufficiently, she can hug him at his size.
Yeah, she can be big.
Yeah,
he can.
All I
Yeah,
wanna
her whole
do.
body. With no clothes, though. So that part might be awkward. Well, her big form doesn't have any. That's the
don't
problem.
worry about it.
I'm not,
we're going to move past it. It's just going to
Well,
be
I
a
was
nice
gonna-
moment.
It'll just be big
was gonna
arms, you know?
That's true. They're all technically arms.
Yeah.
She could make an outfit out of her arms. I was going to say, and I'm going to be the Polly here, that I wish she wore normal clothes when that happened.
Don't we all?
know. Okay, glad I'm not being the only Polly here.
Yeah, he pulls it off somewhat tastefully, but I am still like, God damn, dude.
No, in this arc, it's been bad because she's been going through like really emotional and important moments, and she's wearing the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. Am I the only one who thinks this?
She's doing Space Channel 5, and she's having
Her
feelings.
outfit is better than Nami's, but you and I have already had discussions on how much I hate these outfits for the girls. So
I agree, and I do agree. Nami's is okay. Like Nami's
she
could be
looks like she's wearing a
fixed
diaper.
pretty.
Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
But all you need to do to fix her outfit is give her some sort of pant.
I feel like if she, even if she had like literally this, I've said this exactly, but like the see-through skirt, like the acrylic,
The Stussy kind
I
of
just
thing.
need something. It's boring. Sorry.
Stussy does it right. But yeah, I don't know. I hate those outfits for the most part. Sorry.
It's
I
okay.
know. There's probably someone out there who's very mad at
Oh,
me now.
there's a lot of people who love them, but I'll go on record. Reader, listener, develop some taste. It's okay.
And I think we've said this point a lot. It's unfair that Zoro and Usopp aren't treated the same way as Robin and Nami in their outfits.
Robin in like
be an
a
equal
cool ass
opportunist.
cat suit.
Or
Come on.
revert. You could do it in either direction, but as long as
Usopp
there's
in a
equal
diaper like
opportunity.
Tinder Pink.
Yeah.
I could see it. Hey, you don't have to find a restroom, and it probably is difficult in the middle of a fight on Egghead. Anyway, next one comes from. No one thinks about that, but I'm sure like Luffy has to.
But
pee at
it
some
keeps
point.
you up at
Yeah,
night.
what if
I
you
know
get
that
a
it does.
tummy ache in the middle of fighting?
Yeah, it's a
Guys,
well.
bathroom
Actually,
break.
to be fair, Luffy, the whole thing with remember when Nami was sick back before Drum Island? It's like, don't you guys ever get sick? And they're like, no. It's probably like that, but with having to go to the bathroom for them during important moments. As someone who pees a lot, this has just been on my mind. Is this TMI?
I'm putting
Yeah,
you on
let's
pause.
keep
We're
going.
muting
Let's
you.
keep going.
I have a
The
kid.
next
I've like
question.
lost. I've lost my filter. Revoid Century. Oh, I'm sorry. The one more thing I want to mention. Saul having scars. We forgot to mention. I don't think he has any because wasn't the whole thing he was an ice capsule, like the time capsule? He's probably fine. Anyway,
Ice Age. No. Ice Capsule.
ice capsule was ice or ice. I think it
Time
was
Capsule.
Ice time capsule. I think is what it was. Yeah. Revoid Century patch says, "Hey, ominous pelagic pinnacle." Totally what we're called. How's it going? I find the reactions of the celestial dragons to the mention of the Void Century very intriguing. The vast majority of them are angry, like they know something about the gap, or at least that it would be bad if others knew about it. But Saint Sharia, this person remembered her name, that one noble with the veil, but understood that we would not know the name.
Yep.
Seem to not even know what the Void Century. They wrote VC. I thought Voice Channel. Void Century was. This tells you where I am in my mind. I looked her up to review what we know of her, and she is the youngest and only named female celestial dragon in the story. At only 17, you could have fooled me. Are the dragons not teaching their kids? Is this a thing they get homeschooled? Is this a thing that they learn about at 18? Or maybe something that the world nobles stop talking about after some recent event, like the beginning of the Age of Pirates or the destruction of Ohara? It's interesting that even the villains are having different reactions to learning even fairly well-known truths about the world, well-known amongst readers.
I got the impression that it wasn't that they knew exactly what he was going to say, but it was just like heresy that he was saying anything about the Void Century or something. And now if it's a situation like this, that would be super cool. But I got the vibe that was like, how dare you say anything at all? So, and she was pondering like, oh, wait, I don't actually know this. Why are they all mad?
I do think it is interesting that was her reaction. I don't know what to make of it, but
I can't imagine why they would care to teach about the Void Century when they're trying to like make people forget about it. It's like, why would we teach our kids anything about it? It's not important to them.
Yeah, they benefit from its absence. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, why would
for some reason?
I'm surprised that any of them actually know the words Void Century and to put them in those two things.
They might not.
Disconnected they are from like reality in general and their world in general. They just kind of do whatever they want to do. So I'm sure that like the what century? The Void, huh? They'd probably have very little idea of what happened other than the fact that they're rich, they're powerful, they don't care.
I wonder what they know. It's not clear that they're reacting to the Void Century part. Actually, they start yelling before he says that term.
Yeah.
So they might just be angry, rich assholes, which they generally are.
Sounds about on point.
No good celestial dragons, as I always say. Except the one that died, because he got executed by the others.
Akkad? All celestial dragons are Akkad? I don't know.
All celestial dragons
are
Actab.
That's a hard acronym you got.
That is a rough one.
That was a rough one. We got to think of better, more catchy.
All good
there.
celestial dragons deserve lunch.
You got it.
Okay. We've lost all those cop viewers we had. Listeners, sorry. Yeah, so that is interesting. I forgot what we were talking about. Any other thoughts on celestial dragons being douchebags? Sailor Karna is Universal, says, hey, OPP, I really hope Steven is on. I'm sorry, because I need an in-depth explanation for all the letters and words.
You're going to have to wait a week.
You're going to have to wait 1 week, but Steven and Greg will both be on to do, I assume, a deep dive of this and maybe the last chapter and where they think things are going. Again, if you don't listen to the SGS, you're really missing out. Ed, how did we put it, that our thoughts on the SGS?
Oh, yeah, it's the podcast about One Piece that I always wanted to listen to.
Aw.
Yeah, not us.
Yeah, I mean, like, no one was going to make a show, so we had to make a show.
Right.
Our show wasn't really like that, but I love listening to that.
Yeah, I agree. We had a few people mention how much they love the SGS at the City Winery one we did in April, and so I am glad people are liking that. It definitely, and I'm glad it's back, because it is I learn new things every time I listen. Last question from Dispiece. Hey, OPP, in an arc... This is from... by the way, that last one I forget if I mentioned is Sailor Karna is Universal. This one is from PR Minotaur, who says, hey, OPP, in an arc that is not only focused on the Marines, but also showing the reactions of nearly every person we've met, Smoker is notably absent. Do you think he's going to have a big reintroduction or just another cameo reacting to Vegapunk's message? Good question.
Josh.
Good, Josh.
Yes,
You're muted.
I do think this.
The smoker man is in the house.
The smoker liker is logged on. No, I think that there's going to be, perhaps after this arc, a pretty big sea change where all of the members of the world government and the Marines who have like a human soul are going to have to divest from the rest of the Marines. So like the members of Sword are going to have to split off. There's going to have to be some sort of schism in the Marines.
Yeah.
Because I mean, after the events of this, especially after the events of this chapter, there's going to have to be like a clamping down worldwide if the government wants to maintain hegemony. So there's going to have to be a split.
I want to ask you, Josh, since you like defending war criminals.
My favorite thing to do, everybody.
Yeah. Sakazuki, like, what do you like? Put aside any attraction. What do you think? I know, hard to do. He is a good-looking man, but what do you like think is going through his mind, you could be totally evil. I mean, except for like a Ryokugyu, like that's a level of fascism and pro tyranny that's on another level. But I feel like you could be at his level, and if you didn't know about this, be like, hey, what the fuck, guys? Why didn't you tell me about this?
I feel like, how do I put this? I feel like his whole thing, and I think this is why, I mean, because he is doing stuff in this story, but I think the whole reason why he's kind of become like a cold fish, especially in the last several movements of the story, is that like I think he's witnessing the end of this sort of like period of time. I think something somewhere in him is like, oh, things are changing. This is something that it's explosive. It's new. There's nothing I can really do about this. I'm not saying he's given up, but I'm saying I don't think he has that dog in him to like keep the world government together. So I think he's just witnessing the end.
I do agree with that. Yeah, I do like the fact that he's that guy in the office who really doesn't want to be there and wants to be doing something more important.
Yeah.
He wants to go retire.
No, he doesn't. He wants to go kill people. He loves murdering.
All right, that's fair.
Like that's yeah. He's a man who loves being conniving and murdering. Like he's clearly a very big shithead.
Yeah, because like I mean, like you said, the admiral who's an ideologue is Ryokugyu. And everybody else has their own philosophy that doesn't necessarily include the iron grip of the world government on the planet.
It's super interesting, like how different each of the admirals, or soon-to-be former admirals, probably, kind of see themselves and the world. I mean, obviously, as is reminded often, the good guys are supposed to be the Marines and the government, like to the masses, in the One Piece world. And I wonder how much this event is going to change things. Ed, that's it for this piece. What's our next segment?
Do we have any emails?
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, then...
No Reddit either.
Yeah. And the next segment is Piece the Tweet. Yeah. Piece the Tweet time. I thought I had that in a tab somewhere. Give me a second.
That's fine. I was going to mention...
Delaney, make that sound good.
I was going to mention while he pulls it up, the Steven thing. I think specifically the A and MU thing on the Mother Flame has been going around. Someone mentioned that the ampersand is pronounced as to so atomu or atom in Japanese. I think that was Sandman. I don't know if that's the case. Sure. I think Alex in our chat just now, after his European adventure, mentioned, although I guess he's Greek, mu, the Greek letter, could also be related to emu or to wait, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I don't know. It's some interesting stuff there. Anyway, Ed, I'm assuming you have it.
Yeah, first one comes from Alejandro, who says, "Hello, OPP. Hope you're all well. With this new cover story ramping up, that means we'll see more of our boy Yamato. Are you expecting to see the other scabbards? Or will Yamato get a new rambunctious crew like Odin before him?" Well, I think if you're going to explore around Wano, I think we're going to see a lot of characters we know before. So
I like the idea of him kind of creating his own posse.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to go out to sea with somebody, I suppose.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely give him at least like a first mate.
Yeah,
they're gonna give him a Beppo. He's gonna get a Beppo.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys think when he rejoins the story, because at some point it'll happen, unlike Paulie, that we'll see. Sorry, guys.
That was so mean, and for what?
Why?
And for what?
Because it's true.
I hate to say,
Paulie's gonna roll up on a rope boat and just absolutely decimate everybody else. Okay?
You mean rope?
Yes.
He's gonna be
rope.
holding a. He's gonna be like Odin in the back of Whitebeard's ship.
He's gonna lose his thumbs to a loan shark.
Yeah.
No, you know what? That's who Yamato's first mate is going to be. It's going to be Paulie now.
Yeah. Sorry, I misheard earlier. I actually went to Mocktown and everybody knew Zach, not Steve.
You know it. I'm proud of it. Yeah, Do you guys think that Yamato will be alone when he rejoins with
No, he
the
needs
Straw Hats
friends.
and some, or will
He'll
he
have
be
to have
with
his
like
own
a
crew,
crew,
you think.
his own crew?
Yeah.
Yamato's gonna have a crew with him for sure.
Of the characters we know, I'll ask then, who do you think should be part of his crew? In Wano, not Paulie, Josh.
We say Tama. Just put a little kid on his ship. I don't care.
I don't
I
care.
mean, Tama can like control people's brains, right? That's
Exactly.
pretty good.
They
Yeah.
got Chopper.
Yeah.
Chopper's a little kid. That's
Yeah.
a teenager.
I feel like Paulie's been mentioned like 20 times today. It's almost like, should we just center this episode
Yes.
around Paulie?
Yes.
Pollination,
No.
right?
And an
Pollination,
appalling
I think.
and an appalling truth.
Oh, that's really good. I like that. That was like it's a little too much, but it is
How
very
did you
good. I
bring
like
our
it.
Yamato conversation back to Polly?
I thought you did that.
Zach did it.
I always do it. So yeah. Who else that we've seen? I guess. Do you have any other thoughts? Otherwise, Ed, you can.
All right, next one comes from Joyo Boyo, who says, "Hi, OPP. This chapter got my attention regarding a cast of characters Oda has been preparing for a Void Century flashback. Characters like Lily, Zunisha, and Joy Boy. He's getting ready to tell possibly the saddest stories since we know they fail. It's going to make me cry."
Do you think we're going to see that very soon, or do you think we're just going to kind of get the structure of it and then go back to it much later?
But like teasing that stuff with Zunisha and Joy Boy and Lily's message really makes you think that you're going to see it.
Do we have another flashback in this arc?
Not in this arc,
us.
I don't think.
Yeah, I think
No.
they'll get to Elbath before we get the T there.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking more. Like, because this could be a tee up for the flashback. Like that last line could
And
be.
and you never know, Toki could be in this flashback too.
Yeah, and she's alive. That's what's important.
Or she was alive.
Never.
Next one comes from Natchworks, who says, "Hi, OPP. Do you have any theories as to why Vegapunk could hijack every transponder snail signal in the world but Wano's? He could even reach Mary Joa. I'm intrigued by the lack of information Wano will have when Vegapunk's message is fully broadcast." Well, I mean, doesn't Wano like have their transponder snails that work on like the Apple operating system, and everyone else is on Android, basically?
I don't know.
I mean, they can get a newspaper.
Yes, eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Vegapunk can do it because he's a magic science genius man.
Yeah.
And everyone does have transponder snails for the most part. Like if the Straw Hats have one,
Yeah.
everyone has
Well,
one.
audio ones,
Yeah.
just like
Right.
Yeah, it's a test of the emergency broadcasting system.
Right.
Yeah, everyone has to have. Yeah, everyone has to have one.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ed.
put that-
for-
I mean, that
needed.
actually brings up a really good point. Like, the government has to broadcast stuff for the population of the world to know. So it's more or less just like hijacking something that almost was probably put in place by him and other people to help the propaganda.
Max Headroom style.
I was going to say
I
he's
think
just
that's
Max
what-
Headroom. Yeah.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's what Vegapunk was trying to do. Like that was part of the whole what's it called, Punk Records, and also I think he said one day, for good or for bad, the world will all be connected and know what everyone else is doing. Basically, our world.
He predicted
that's
TikTok.
kind of one of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Max
that's what he
Headroom.
predicted.
He invented the internet,
Yeah.
and everybody has been
Like
mad
Al
about it
Gore.
ever since.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like Al Gore. And
This dude invented One Piece internet, and everybody's like, nah, hate it, mad about it forever.
this is Al Gore's chapter of One Piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say it here.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's
The Mother
climate.
Flame
there's-
is not just it's not just something where you could just dump something at. It's a series of tubes.
That was not Al Gore.
I know that wasn't Al Gore. I just love saying it's a series of tubes.
Yeah, a reference
never
from
left.
2006. Oh, it's just like Pongo, ages
I
like wine.
lost.
Yeah.
Right. Last one comes from Shaheen, who says, "Hey OPP, with Vegapunk's message, we're seeing characters from previous arcs. Is there anyone in particular you want to see? When are we going to see Dragon do something? Even the Five Elders have shown us their devil fruits. Is Dragon even real, or is he a clone?" Smirk face. I think Dragon's real.
Can I mention the clone thing? You know what? I'll let you all answer this question.
What do you got to say about clones, Zach?
Become
wanna
the
hear
Clone
this
Wars has. It's totally what I was going to say. I was just going to say it was interesting looking at the Stussy introduction. I think it says something like she was the first successful clone, like specifically numbering it. I think is very interesting. We haven't seen any other examples of them in the series, right?
Well, I mean, Weevil could be a failed clone.
Weevil's failed
Germa.
everything.
Germa.
Are those clones or just genetically engineered people?
What's
I thought
the
it was.
difference?
Oh no! I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. The Room of Clones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Yeah. I forgot that. I always forget that.
Not you know.
Not the kids.
What,
Yeah.
what if that's Crocodile's big secret? The big thing that everybody has been supposing. Maybe he's Dragon's clone, the failed clone of Dragon.
I'm rocking with that.
It's a gender thing.
It's
gotta
not.
be.
It can't possibly be. They showed baby Crocodile so many times, and he looks exactly like Baby Mihawk.
I don't
He looks
want it to be a
exactly
gender
like
thing.
Baby Mihawk.
The crocodile
Does that mean
secret that
anything?
Ivankov has been holding on to for so long is that he shit his pants in the 5th grade.
I
That's what
believe
Crocodile
that
did.
above the gender thing. 100%
Yeah.
above the
I
gender
have to
thing.
say, having a kid, there's no gender there at I don't think that that's even something that. What I mean is that's not something that necessarily develops immediately, or that's.
I think
Yeah,
also
but-
I don't know.
but that's also-
Not to
I
get
don't
into,
think Oda
into
is that enlightened on his depictions.
That
That's
is
all.
that is 100% true.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna call out Oda's definitely not up to date
That's
on
true.
any of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Oda draws his characters how he wants to draw them, and he drew Baby Crocodile exactly like he drew Baby Mihawk.
Yeah.
So there feels intent there.
It's a transitive property of gender. I like it.
I think it was a fun theory back
If
then.
A equals
but-
B, then B equals C.
And we just talked about Oda's. I don't think Oda's the author to tell this story.
No.
But also we just had Okiku in the story.
We
It's
did.
a great example of a trans character.
That's
Then
true.
why would you then bring Crocodile back only be like, you used to be a girl?
Yeah,
It's like-
To be
think-
fair,
It's-
Oda would do that.
I think that
I don't know. I just think it's we've already had a positive example of it. So
Yeah.
we can hope that Oda is not that backwards.
Yes, I think it would suck for Eva's character to be like my rug pull for thing that I'm going to hold over
Yeah,
you.
that's true.
is
Agreed.
that. That's the only
Okay.
reason why I super hate that theory. But
Okay,
Yeah,
it's a
it goes-
very popular theory.
it goes
which is why I
it
bring
goes
up.
against if you go back and watch Impel Down or read Impel Down, Ivankov has this whole speech about who cares what you are,
That's true. That's
True.
true. That's true.
But if
Well,
he's a
although-
clone, but if he's a
Well,
clone,
Jill-
I'm rocking with that.
Jill mentioned in our Fight Together episode, just to note, Ivankov's one did weaponize it against that one prisoner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. I'm not saying it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm just saying I could see Oda.
You can
doing
see
that.
it's in line with Oda's thinking, which
Yeah.
I agree with. I
that
just
was
don't
a
want
long time ago, though.
Yeah.
for
It
him.
was.
That was a
It was.
long time ago.
Things in 2009 were, I'm going to say, slightly different than they are today in
Just
2024.
You
sometimes.
don't say.
Yeah. And that was it, right?
That was the last one.
Yeah, it's funny that we took a while on that last one. We have Yaoi Thunderdome coming up in a moment. That's it for Piece Together. We'll see you on the other side.
All right.
But do we need an air horn?
Don't you
Don't.
dare, Delaney.
Delaney, do this for me.
Vuvuzela. This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 817 for May 13th, 2024. Thank you all. This was a really fun one. And if you're looking for a more serious episode on this topic, listen to our version of NPR with Stephen Paul and Greg Werner next week.
Stephen Pauly is what we're going to start calling him.
Stephen
No, we're
Polly.
not.
Old rope
I've lost
action
control of
Steven.
I've lost control of this show. Oh my God.
Yeah, the SGS starring Stephen Pauly and Greg Berg.
Greg Berg.
Steve, the next time you do an SGS image, that's what you should do.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to just mention all the cool guests we're going to are coming up in the next few months. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago, I will be on a parental leave and leaving the real responsibility, not the one of parenting, but the one of podcasting, with Ed and Steve. Good hands. And I'm not being sarcastic.
You're stuck with me.
I like that.
And if you're not familiar with Ed's style of podcasting, he just walks in, he's like, bada bing, bada boom, I'm out.
He's really good with that.
Yeah, they call
We get to the topics.
They call it bread.
No more
Enjoy
funny
this
business.
poly discussion while you can.
Yeah,
So I had
not
to be on
happening
guest.
today.
Ed will
can't
not
bring
be
it on my
having
own.
Vero and I back. Yeah.
Me neither. If it were just the two of us again, it would be very.
What do you mean?
pretty
I would
dry.
love that. I sit back and content happens.
Yeah,
I think
that's
you just
true.
I think you like the giggles. Everybody does.
Everyone
No,
likes the
I'm not
giggles.
saying Ed is a stick in the mud, but Ed is just,
He's
He
straight to
gets
business.
things done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
straight.
Yeah.
He's a straight shoot.
That's why we love him.
Love you all
Hey,
too.
let's all stop complimenting Ed for 1 second. God. Thank you, Ed. We love you. I love you.
I love you.
Okay, enough of that. Enough love for today. We're men in America. We don't have those feelings. Okay, we have the two of us.
I mean, four.
Welcome to
Two.
That's it.
welcome to Costco. I love you.
Right.
This has gotten off the fucking rails. We have Yaoi Thunderdome coming up later to get us back on track. But I want to mention on May 27th, we have Anthony Bowling, the former ADR director now of One Piece, and Corinne, who played Momonosuke in the dub of One Piece. Following week, Abby Denton returns. We have Henry Gilbert returning, and our friend Mike Patton, the Lazy River guy. We have Victoria from the Sailor Moon podcast. I should have the name of the podcast in front of me, but I don't.
Ed wouldn't make that mistake.
That's true, actually. Fuck. And also Alan Ortega, who has been on the show and is returning. Jeff Trammell returns the following week. We have Crystal, first-time guest, who is a cosplayer, a content creator of all sorts. So excited for that. We have Dr. Gomez on the show the following week, who Josh and Ed know, and that's on July 7th. And Josh, you'll be on for that. And Jill should hopefully be on for that as well.
Josh and Jill.
Josh is booked and busy.
Yeah, Josh is busy. Following week from our sister podcast, Shoujo Sunday, we have Chica joining us, and Vero, you'll be on for that one, so don't worry. We have Joey Weiser on, Salty DK Dan, the YouTuber, on the one after that, and a lot more happening in August. Obviously, the month ends with our live show, as we mentioned, where Brodsky, Vero, and Josh will all be in the same room causing chaos.
And wine. There's wine there, I'm told.
And there's wine.
Free wine. Free wine. Well, for us, not for everyone else. I'm sorry I mentioned that.
The last time we were in a room together, somebody died.
That's
Who?
true.
Don't worry about it. I can't tell you.
Why not?
Listener,
one's
it could be
listening to
you.
this. No one's listening to this. Oh, God, am I
Have
dead?
fun. They died of fun.
They died of fun. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's a good way to die, I guess. If you're gonna... Anyway, Kdin, where could the good people find you?
You can find me pretty much anywhere. You can find me Kdin Jenzen on Blue Sky. I'm still on Tumblr. I'm not on Twitter. I stream very regularly on Twitch. I'm a VTuber, so I get to do that whole fun thing.
Oh, cool.
And, of course, you can find me over at Yaoi Talk Show, which is my One Piece podcast, where I talk about all sorts of stuff with my three friends, Molly, Mark, and Al, and somehow every One Piece podcast has storyboard artists on the cast and crew.
It's a role.
Which is
It's a role.
somehow the most on-brand thing I've ever thought of in my life, actually.
I do know Molly. Hi, Molly. I do know.
And they
Molly.
also all know each other.
They do all
And it's
know
not-
each other.
They do.
Yep.
It's not even like one of those things where you say like, oh, they really do. They all know each other. All storyboard artists. If you meet any, they know everyone else. Right, Steve? Vero, where could people... Sorry, go.
That's it. I was saying, we can't even get an answer, and I'm like, right, Steve? No, I'm actually. It's funny. I'm just like checking to see if I know Molly too, because that would be funny if I do. Let's.
You see, the reason I was cutting you off is that this is not good audio.
So the good people
Audio
can
medium.
find me.
Vero.
I'm most active on Twitter still for some reason at Ginkgo Crown Arts, and you can find me literally everywhere else just at Ginkgo Crown, Instagram, Tumblr. I don't TikTok really. And if you're gonna be at ASEN or MomoCon in the coming month, I will be there. Not wearing One Piece cosplay, but I will have badge ribbons if you want to come say hi. So.
And
Yeah.
Venture Brothers. Is that what you said?
Venture Brothers and Final Fantasy. If you see Sephiroth, hit him up because that's me.
There's no other one that's going to be there?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. If you see
I don't mean to put
Sephiroth
you on
with a
the spot.
Yaoi paddle, that's me.
Wow.
Talk about
I still
a
don't-
blast from the past.
I know, right? I know.
It's a fan.
I've stepped into 2007?
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Josh, where could people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, I guess. User Amons, AMONNS. And I haven't plugged my podcast in a while. We've had One Piece podcast crewmates like Joey and Shannon and Alex on the show. Steve once. But we are swim fans. We are an erotic thriller genre film podcast. So if you like my voice for whatever reason, it's every Thursday. There's
like
a new
it.
episode. Thanks. Every Thursday.
I don't let
there's a new
people on
episode.
the show if I don't like their voices.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Steve. Steve is what I was going to say.
You like my voice?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can take it or leave it.
What if I talk like this? Steve?
Stop.
Oh, that's better. No, that's better. I like that more.
This is Steve Yurko. You can go to my website.
I like Wild
Doing a
West.
Simpsons reference. He's doing a Simpsons reference, folks.
Yeah, I am.
A Simpsons reference.
SteveYurko.com. All social media at Steve Yurko. Check out my other podcast, 4Kids Flashback, that I do with Tara Sands. If you want to know what the deal is with that, just look it up. That's the spiel. Also check out ProZD Plays Games on YouTube. New episodes daily. And upcoming convention appearances, tabling. I'm going to ASEN and I'm going to MomoCon. I won't be in Artist Alley, but I will be hanging out at ASEN, be helping out Sungwon at MomoCon. Look up his schedule and I'll probably be there. And then I'm tabling at Anime Expo. So if you're going to be in Los Angeles July 4th weekend and you want to just be in a massive ocean of people,
You're a good salesman.
come to AX.
Couldn't pay me to go to X anymore.
No?
You could pay me
No.
enough. It would have to be a lot.
There was too many people 8 years ago.
Yeah, but the creator of Dungeon Mesh is going to be there, so I'm going to stand in the line.
Yeah, that's creators.
Well, you're
are
from
important.
Florida. You should be able to take it.
By the way, Brodsky is not joining us because they're with the creator of Witch Hat Atelier as we speak.
That
Bastard.
bitch.
Yeah.
And having too much fun.
I know.
Oh, I want to mention, Steve, with 4Kids Flashback, I think the interview with the Book of Mormons, Andrew Rannells, just aired.
Tony Award winning? Or
Tony
nominated?
Award nominated.
Yeah.
I was corrected.
Andrew Reynolds, yeah, we were able to get him on the podcast. That's neat. Yeah, it's amazing the amount of people Tara's able to get in contact with and get to talk about their time working there. It's a lot of fun, and like Tara's awesome. So like if that was a certain time of your life that you're nostalgic about, or you're just very fascinated about the story behind like a very controversial company in terms of anime dubbing, give it a listen. It's really fascinating.
And best known, obviously, for playing the title character in Tama and Friends. But seriously, like, big deal.
No, best known for playing a kid or playing characters in Street Sharks. So,
Oh, well, there you go. Ed, where could the good people find us?
Well, you are Zach at One Piece Podcast on Blue Sky. I am Edward E on Blue Sky. And the podcast can be found at the new and improved OnePiecePodcast.com. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. You can contact us there. Please support us, patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. And you can subscribe on SoundCloud, Spotify, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again, 347-497-6254. Call anytime. With your questions, comments, theories. I have to give a shout out in this part to our fan Ken, who did mention that the Mother's Flame came out on Mother's Day. So I have, as we record this, so happy Mother's Flame Day to all of you.
Happy Mother's Day to all flaming mothers.
Yeah,
Oda's a secret American.
All flaming moms, we're thinking of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
You're on
speaking
fire,
of flaming.
I'd say. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Good segue.
I'll shut up now.
Good segue.
Dear listener,
Excellent.
it's my show now. Somebody complained recently that we're too gay, so we're gonna make it gayer.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm sorry, if I have one more thing to say. If you're on Apple Podcasts and you like the gayness, please review us on Apple Podcasts because someone didn't.
If you're down with the gayness.
Shut up. Are you calling it a sickness?
I am.
All right, now,
shut up now.
for those who it's your first time here, Kdin included, Yaoi Thunderdome, I scour a fan fiction website called Archive of Our Own, and I pull up a bunch of different ships, and I compare the number of ships. So the idea is which one do you think has more works? Which one has like more fan fictions written about it? I try to base it off because there's a way to code your fanfics if they're in a relationship or if they're just friends. So I am not counting the friendship fics. This is just the /fic. Thank you. And as much as I would love to have some girly pop representation in here, the masses just don't write about women. So write to your local congressman and make sure they fix the disparity between
I
Yaoi
so hope
and Yuri.
someone does that.
Josh
hope
and I know
someone-
how
It's
people write about
infecting
women.
Dungeon
Yeah.
Meshi, and that's the Yuri.
Kamala Harris, if you could get them to write more fanfic about women.
You know what? If I could see...
Josh, I can't wait for you to get the call one day. Josh, we did it.
How
Dear
Secret
listener,
Fuja?
I want to see Nami Toshigi fix out the wazoo. Give it to me. Anyway, so
Thank you, Vice President Harris, for getting that through.
I am going to divide you guys up into two different teams. Josh has the most extensive. I mean, now, Kdin, I don't know. I don't know what you've been doing in your spare time.
I may have written a few fanfics in my day, more than a few.
She's so real. Kdin's real.
I couldn't put you two on the same team. I knew. So Josh and Ed, because Ed is kind of slayful at this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not like Steven, but...
I was about to say, Steven, I love when he like locks in. He's like, well, these two characters had 7 lines of dialogue 32 years ago. He's like, so naturally.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's a
Ed,
really good Steven impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you could have seen me do the professor.
I've never heard anyone do a Steven impression, and that is just on the nose.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Steven's truly our professor.
Yeah,
X.
Steven's like, girlies, come to me. Like, it's...
to me, my podmen. I can't breathe.
I have broken.
On our downtime, we're gonna have to cast everyone
Yes.
on the pod as an X.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. If
I
you
wanna hear
practice
that
your
when
southern
that happens.
accent, you can be Gambit.
I can see that.
Zach, Steve, and Kdin, you guys are on the other team. Now we're gonna start it off. I'm gonna set some. I lost my pen. I'm gonna set
Wait,
some.
first we have to
expectations
think
here.
of a name for the team.
Oh yeah, while I'm doing this, to give your team names. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a good
To
way
give
to
you
kill
an
time.
idea, the One Piece community has upped the fan fiction count to 66,000 fanfics. Let's go, because I remember you guys.
What are we like above at this point, or right below?
Wait, that's
do you
the
know?
I
that's the
didn't check.
total
That's
number.
it?
That seems really low. That's
Oh,
the
I
total.
know.
That's like
seem low.
super low.
It's pathetic. Like the hockey fic girlies, where they're murdering us. I don't know.
I-
I will.
You mean
give
hockey, the
One
sport?
Piece Yeah, Hockey the Sport is like one of
there's-
the most popular fan fiction place. Don't worry about it.
It's
I
so
will give it
wild.
The
The
credit
hockey
that
fandom is
AO3
wild.
is relatively new in the grand scheme of things, and that with the burning of fanfiction.net, akin to the burning of the Library of
It's
Alexandria,
Alexandria, yeah.
we lost
Ohara,
all
Ohara.
of the early One Piece content.
Okay.
The East Blue. So we've lost
The
part
Void
of our
Century,
history.
one might
Our-
say.
Oh, it's the Void Century. This is excellent.
like I
I think
just
we've
smacked
really
the
found
shit.
some. Yeah, you know what that was? A big punch sheet of the brain.
It was.
what
that
was.
was. Now, because we already all know that Zosan is the most popular. I can never bring it out, but can anyone give me like a guesstimation on what they're up to? Anyone want to throw a number out there for like brownie points? Whoever gets it can go first. We'll give.
Like in sheer number of fics?
Yeah, and this is just the. I didn't compare because you can tag it like Sanji toppings or it's Zosan.
Sure.
So whatever. Yeah.
Ed, how do you feel about a number like 25,000?
That's like a
like a
third,
third,
a
yeah.
third of all fake. It's a lot. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. It was in. I mean, Zosan was in Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei back in the day. So.
Steve and Kdin, what are we going with? Here?
Yeah. What's your number?
I have a
gonna
question though. Are we prices writing this closest without going over?
I'm just gonna get whoever's
Ooh.
closest to the number.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Then, oh goodness, it's got to be a lot. It has to be.
You think it's like 50% though?
No,
Like,
not
you think
even
it's-
close. I don't think it would be like AO3.
That's very high.
AO3 is super like into niche things of like filling the rest
You
of it.
get it. The rare pairs.
It's a lot of like 100 of this, 100 of that. But I'd say it probably around 10 or 11,000.
I was going to say like 16, but I'm fine with 10 or 11. We could do 11. You want to do that?
Yeah,
Steve?
I trust I trust our instincts.
Hey, do you have the damn tab open? Because it's 11,039.
11,039.
That's
Nice, Kdin.
so low.
But you have to think about, there's
The rare pairs.
almost
Okay,
6,000
okay.
Lalu. Like, there's a lot of other things here.
There
okay?
are so many like. Listen, most people do not care about the main characters doing anything.
Yeah.
It does take up a good chunk of it, but the rest
Everyone-
of the fanfics
No,
is just
no.
full of rare pairs.
No.
Some
I
of
love
the
this
66,000
podcast,
could
guys.
be non-shipping fics. I couldn't filter out what's shipping and what's not shipping. So that's just all fics in general, It could be somebody being like, Luffy and Ace having an ice cream day as brothers,
Yeah, that's
If
it's riveting
Zoro,
to read.
If it's Zoro and Sanji, though, it's
Yeah.
like it's gonna be
it's bread and butter.
Yeah,
It's there.
basic.
Okay.
It's the white bread of
It is
Yaoi
basic.
fix.
Okay,
in
so
One Piece.
Even I know. Although they just
season, you guys are going first.
wait. Did
Do
I?
we
I'm
think-
the Z. Yeah, okay.
Do we think more people are freaks for Nami and Law or Nami and Kid?
Ooh,
We're starting off fucking crazy.
I have to do Nami and Law, right?
I think it's you'd assume. I think
Or
it's
is it the
gonna be-
redhead thing?
I think it's probably Nami and Kid because Kid has got that feral energy that Nami also has. Like that, just like
That's where my instincts are going.
Okay. My instincts are probably wrong, so I would defer to the two of you.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
yeah.
It's not right. They are so outnumbered. It's kind of crazy.
It's Trafalgar
I don't
Law,
know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
like
what I was thinking.
What is this? Is this kindergarten hour? It's Trafalgar Law.
Okay, but I do see a lot of Nami and Kid shipping art, which is why I was confused that there's only 24 fics as opposed to 254 Nami Law. Who the fuck wants Nami and I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, next time I'm
Everybody wants to ship
Yeah.
with love.
all right, now I need
Okay.
to
Oh,
write
you got
Nami
the
Kid.
11,000.
Yes,
Kaden, you
yes,
got
yes,
the
yes.
11,000, which was extremely impressive. so
Team
you're
Jed?
even.
Oh, actually, our team name is Team Edward. We're Team Edward.
Sure. Not
That's a
Team
Twilight
Cross Swords.
reference. It's a Twilight
Wow,
reference. you
we're
guys.
really going to the mid-aughts here. We're really going there.
Edward, do you think more people are self-shipping? So this is a character and a self.
Yep.
Or your self
Sure.
insert.
I'm familiar,
Are we
yep.
self-shipping? Some of the listeners might not be self-shipping with Doe Flamingo or Smoker.
Oh.
Ooh.
I think if you're gonna,
Josh,
if
are
you're
you
gonna,
okay?
if you're gonna do self-insert fiction, it's got to be Doflamingo, right? That's the kind of person who would write that.
Sorry, I won't interact.
Because they're such two different but good flavors, right? Because you
Yeah.
can like tame a monster Okay,
flavor
in
of a cigar.
in your Doflamingo fic.
Do people who write self-insert fics want to be treated well by Smoker?
No.
Maybe because he's got the
Maybe.
daddy energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How many of those fanfic tags that I sent you implied not taming anything?
I think you're right, Ed. I have to go.
These
Doflamingo.
girlies want
Yeah.
Doflamingo to put them in a basement, like they're on you.
Yeah,
I think
I agree,
it's
Doflamingo.
Doflamingo.
Yeah.
You're incorrect.
Oh,
It's fucking
wow.
Smoker.
Yo, go
Whoa.
Smoker,
Whoa.
baby!
By double. It's double. Which
No,
is
because
crazy.
that's so good. Because like Smoker does have
That is good.
He has the firm hand of a patrician, right? Like
No, besides the details, I am happy that that's the case.
I'm
For
also
humanity.
happy that's the case. Good
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
I think that's my faith in humanity.
no, the
Oh,
Doflamingo
God,
girlies. I am here for you. You are
Yeah.
so
No,
right.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
No.
Now,
Thank you, Kdin. Thank you.
we're pulling up. I'm pulling up two of my favorite ships right now. Judge me as you will. Only God really can. Do we think Nami and Sanji or Sanji and Luffy is more popular?
Oh, these are your two favorites.
I do. One of them's a guilty pleasure. One of them I'm
Nami
right.
I thought you're you're not Luffy Nami also, or no? I don't know who's into that. I don't know.
No.
I thought that was for some reason.
Many of our friends are.
You gave a real look there.
I know. I was like, how dare you accuse me? If
Ver-
Sanji and Nami are together, he's trans femme to me. That's all I have to say.
I get it.
A straight ship versus versus Sanji and Luffy. That's like, I don't know. That's like a PS.
What was it, Nami?
Versus a Pico.
Nami
Nami and
Sanji.
Sanji versus Luffy and Sanji. Who's Sanji's partner of the day?
Oh, Luffy Sanji.
It's got to be Luffy Sanji.
Because Sanji wants to be with Nami.
It's gotta be. It's AO3.
Oh wait, this is your I'm sorry.
If it's a het ship on AO3, no, it's gonna get outdone by
Agreed.
the MLM ship.
Agreed.
100%.
So we're voting Sanji and Luffy?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm nodding. Yes.
It's not correct.
I know.
What?
Well, that's just wrong.
No,
now my faith in humanity is
Lusan
down.
is a niche. It is.
Well, it is.
It is.
They're very close.
Lusan
though.
is a niche.
Nami Sanji has 50 more. So
Vero
Only
yelled so
50?
much.
Okay, that's
Nami Sanji's at 750 and Sanlu is at 700.
That's
Okay,
a,
that's
I
close.
feel-
that's a
Okay.
heterosexual win right
I
there.
feel
I know. Finally, the straights needed a win.
Finally,
Okay.
AO3.
I feel
We
less
got it.
bad about it being 50 away from each other.
Yeah,
that's
they're pretty
really
close.
close.
A lot of these that I do pick, I'm trying to do some close ones. Okay, I'm let's see. I've been kicking your guys' ass. I'm
God,
sorry.
Yeah, it's 0-0 right now.
I know. Okay, are we back to Edward?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Team Edwards.
It's just Ed.
Do you guys think Kid and Law are more popular than Marco and Ace? Which one is it?
Ooh.
Marco and Ace fix would have happened a lot more before AO3 was a thing. Wouldn't it?
But they still persist. The girlies are still horny for it to this day.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that Brodsky's
You'd-
always worried about being canceled over?
You'd be
Well,
surprised.
yeah. If they'll get. It is what it is.
Let's talk about it then.
I think Kid Law is more approachable for your average Fujoshi.
It sounds like you're saying Kid Law, which is not.
Law
I
Kid.
agree, Josh.
Yeah, I think that has a lower barrier of entry for your average Fujo. That's my pick.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that's.
That's not correct.
Damn.
Marco Ace is
I
so
thought
popular.
that was an easy one.
I
Yeah.
know
The Fujos
specifically.
go crazy for Mari.
That one
I
was, I
guess.
thought.
I-
What
really
if
tough.
300 versus
You guys
1200?
you guys are talking very big, but all of your ones you've gotten wrong have been very obvious to me.
Listen, to be fair,
They should
That's
call
how
it.
that works.
If I run out of pairings and we go 0-0, I'm the king of Yaoi. That's all I have to say.
I actually
I
have
think
to
you
go.
already were.
I gotta go, so it's just Ed.
to be
Okay.
fair,
All right.
Shall I go on
Steve,
Ed's-
I'm
or
sliding
one
you
of
over
them?
to Ed's team.
Okay, bye, Z's.
It's,
Bye,
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah,
Later.
bye. Nice to meet you, Kaden.
bye, Josh.
it's not a
Don't
great,
forget to send the
ship
file.
name, but- it's not a great ship name. They
Stead.
should call them. They should call them Mars.
You guys are like literally the ship from fucking the other gay pirate show. Steadward,
No,
whatever. Isn't that
we're still Team Edward.
okay? All right, that's fair. And Zadin. That's what I'm.
Zadin is not bad.
I like it.
Who
More
are we
Z's the
on?
better.
Invaders a
Are we
din.
on Team Zadin? Okay. Do you
Invaders
think
Zadin.
there are more freaks for King and Kaido or Pedro and Sanji?
No, you see, the Pedro and Sanji you got me last time we played this, I remember you're like, oh no, that's just me. There's not actually a lot of
There are
those.
dozens of us.
Right, exactly. There are
Entirely
dozens.
dozens.
Okay, but there are also dozens of King of Kaido. I will
Yeah,
tell you that the number is below 100 for both of them.
I gotta say, all right, if we're putting thought into this,
Yes,
then
which we are.
I think that there's a lot of really, I feel like Yaoi fans would really like the power dynamic between King and Kaido. There's a lot to play with there, and I think it would be something that would be overwhelmingly enjoying that they would like. So I think that King Kaido maybe?
I agree, and my reasoning here is King is just gorgeous, and that's
King
the only
is
reason.
kind
Very
of
pretty.
King is
And
kind of
Pedro
spicy
is
hot.
not,
Pedro is a leopard.
and he's hot.
Oh, how dare you? He's a leopard mink.
I gotta
Oh, I forgot that part.
Hey.
Yeah,
I gotta ask
okay.
about that tag you posted in the chat earlier.
Oh
after
no
this.
what I meant to say is Pedro is dead.
Not in our
and-
hearts. Being dead does
That-
nothing to
that
fanfiction.
didn't-
Ace
It
has
makes you
been dead
give-
for 15
Ace-
years.
I know,
Ace has
I know,
been dead a
I know,
long
I
time.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
but no
doing
one
things to
remembers
Ace's whole
Pedro.
You would never believe.
Oh, I would believe it.
I don't know. We've seen a lot.
Okay, so
He
it's
did
King
have
Kaido, your
magma
final
going
answer?
through it.
I want to believe it's
Yeah.
King Kaido.
Yeah, me too.
That's not correct.
What the fuck?
You're fools.
I
What
think
is
people
this
are
game?
But you know what? Maybe everybody's taste is just bad. Maybe
I'm
that's
sorry.
Yes, I think that's what
There's
we're
only
learning.
36 King Kaido and finally 52 Pedro-san. So
Ooh.
Oh wow. Okay.
get those numbers
Red
up.
herring
And one
there.
of those Pedro-san sitting right
Was-
here.
Yeah.
Wait, is that like rigging the vote there? You
It
got the
feels
one-
like
I
rigging
wrote
the
it 2
vote.
years ago.
Okay,
It's
well,
been
then
in the
never mind.
game this whole time.
Okay, that's fine then.
Okay,
That's acceptable.
I gotta give you an easy one. Jesus Christ.
How many
No,
do we
you
have
don't.
left?
Okay, like
How many did you write?
5.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I thought that there would be more than this. I thought you guys would be better at this. Okay.
Why?
Is Edward?
Sure.
Because usually you guys do a good job.
That's true. Oh god, we're really losing our
Okay.
credibility. here.
Okay, here we go. Edward, is Aokiji getting freaky with Akainu or Smoker? Which one?
Oh.
Again, they're a little close, but
Can you say that again?
Aokiji
Sorry.
with either Akainu or Smoker.
I think that the dynamic between Akainu and Aokiji is there from the beginning. I think people want that. But then again, Smoker was more popular than I thought he was. So
Smoker's really popular.
yeah.
But I think it's.
He's also good
I
looking.
don't know.
Well, not
He's
like
also
the girls
good looking.
was
That's
good.
true.
But the girlies are kind of sour about, Akainu with the killing thing.
Sure.
But I still think it's
Why?
Akainu and Aokiji.
I agree.
Their final answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Oh, we got one.
Fuck.
1 point is on the
Angelina put in,
board.
like,
One
the
on the
kids
board.
cheering
We need to
sound.
get this. We gotta get this, Kdin. We
Yeah,
gotta get
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Otherwise, we're fucked.
Yeah, okay, let me give you a fun one that is,
That doesn't sound good.
well, I don't know. Okay, here we go. This one, you just have to determine the girlies' tastes. Are the girlies self-shipping themselves with Zoro or Law more?
Oh God,
That's fucking tough. I
that's
think.
so
I'm
hard.
sorry.
Like if you ask
Literally.
me, Zoro's the better choice, but I feel like Law's the one everybody would go with.
I that's where my head was.
But do the girlies
Zoro
ship
is
themselves
really
with Law?
yes,
Yeah.
but I mean, obviously both are being done.
Yeah,
That's
Law's
really hard, 'cause
Law's so
Zoro-
damn popular. Law
So is Zoro
so
though.
damn popular.
Zoro's like
yeah, but
weirdly popular.
And he's there from day one.
yeah, but
Well,
yeah, but that hasn't mattered.
Zoro, did Zach just say Zoro is weirdly popular?
No, he's just really popular.
Weirdly,
Zach's like,
weirdly
really? Zoro?
Zoro.
The pirate hunter?
No, what I mean is Law is like so well known for being just the popular one on AO3.
It's
That's
true.
what we know him
It's
from.
true.
But Zoro is popular generally, so it doesn't feel like that would be as obvious a choice. But does one bleed into the other? I don't know. I'm leaning towards Zoro here.
You think so?
Although we got, but we got the law one wrong last time.
We
so
did
it's,
get the law
haunting
one
me.
wrong.
Like it would, and it was obvious in retrospect.
I feel like Jigsaw. Look at my mind games.
Oh God.
Yeah, this is a bad one.
We
We should probably come to a
rough.
conclusion here. I hear Ed telling us to wrap.
Zorro, let's go Zorro. I've been wrong
Okay.
every time with my instincts, so I'm gonna go against my
Yeah,
instincts and go with Zorro.
let's go Zorro.
That's correct.
Yay!
All right.
Okay, hold on.
Did the most heterosexual reaction to that as I could.
Edward,
Yes.
I'm trying to see
tied.
if I could. Oh no, I realize this time. I'm like, maybe I can give you guys one, and whoever gets it first guesses first. I don't know.
If you do one with like a number where we get closest to again.
Yeah, let me do
would
that
work.
actually. Let me do Price is Right rules, and you guys can guess a number.
Okay.
Because
Closest
we
without
all
going
love Nami Vivi here. Give me the number of Nami Vivi fics out there. I will give you a hint. It is under 2,000.
Okay.
Help me out.
So like there's 66,000 total fics out there, and this is less than like
They don't write girls.
They
The
don't.
misogyny.
fair,
Yeah.
AO3 is a barren wasteland for
Yeah.
Woolawas.
To be fair though, fan fiction isn't necessary when it's already canon.
So true.
See, how
so true.
how
You
far
say that,
below-
but that's not true.
I remember Nami and Vivi not being incredibly popular in comparison to other ones. Under 2,000?
Yeah, how far below do you want to go?
2,000.
Price is Right rules.
Yeah.
It is Price
Yeah.
is Right.
Which is really the way to go.
I would give
How do you
Fucks with your
feel?
head.
triple sevens.
Triple sevens?
777.
All right. 777.
So, Kdin, we're in the fortunate position of going after these two, so we just
Yeah.
really have to determine, is it lower or higher? Do we want to be the assholes who do 778, or do we want to be the assholes who do $1? And that's the question.
I think it's higher than that. I want to believe it's higher than that.
So, what do you think it is? And then our guess will be 778 then.
I'm gonna probably say. I mean, let's do a fun number. Let's do 869.
Okay, that's a good,
Okay.
that's a fun number. So 778 is our guess.
Fuck you, Zach.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I need to win the Yaoi Thunderdome once. Come on.
So, is that your final answers?
Yeah.
What's the rule
Yes.
if you guys both go over?
we
Ooh,
both
no
lose,
way.
so you have to do it again.
Everyone's
so no,
a loser.
Do the next
but
one,
this
I
is what you
guess.
do. And no. In you keep the same one. And Price is Right, which I've watched too much of. Now you have to reset and guess something below 777,
Ah.
and both
yeah,
of us
okay,
have to do
yeah.
that.
Everybody guess now below 777.
I won't be an asshole this time, okay? I guess.
I'm gonna. Okay, Team Zach, you guys have to guess first.
Okay, that's fair actually.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Kdin, what do you think it is?
I believed in this ship, and I believed that
I
there was so
know.
much more.
Me too.
And I'm
Me too.
so
Me too.
disappointed.
Me too.
Goodness. 470.
Okay.
Should we be going the opposite of your instincts, or the?
I mean,
is that-
if you want to go 740, which would be the opposite of my instincts. I don't know.
No, don't do 740. Do 470. 47 would be better than
47?
740.
You think it's that low?
No,
No, I was
it's
gonna say
above
like
100.
316.
I'll give you that.
Okay. But we could go with what did you say? 470.
I said 470.
That's fine.
All right, well then I'll say 200.
It's like,
Yeah.
you guys agreeing on that?
What do you think, Steve?
A number that came in my head was 150.
You guys have no faith in these women.
No.
No, we don't. That's the problem.
I try so hard, and they've let me down now.
I know. Come on, women of the world. That's
Yeah.
unite into
How Nami
and-
Vivi has less than 1,000? Come on.
It is canon. Like there's only a few ships that I am convinced 100% is canon, and it's that one is one of
It's
them.
Yeah,
it's
do
the
you disagree?
disparity of One Piece fanfic I've noticed is that you've got like your top 5 that all have like 1,000 and stuff, and then everything else is like a lot of stuff under like 800,
like
500.
Nami-
so-
I mean,
Vivi?
Nami
That's-
Nami
Was
is
that-
100% a lesbian. I think we
What?
could all
Was that-
agree on that.
Yes.
Like, is that counting as our final answer, or
I think
Are you
150 is fine. Yeah.
Just lock it
Okay,
in.
well, the point goes to Zayden because
Yo!
the right number was 757.
Oh my god!
Wow.
I was like, damn, you guys were so fucking close. Well,
That is funny.
Anyway.
Is that, yeah.
you've been crowned the champions of the
What should we do? What do we win? What do we,
some of my Dojin collection.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Monterake bought?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
like, okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've got
Do
one
we
where
get some
Zoro turns into a
shoes?
tiger. No shoes, just books.
No, choose.
And
Why would I
Oh,
ask for
choose.
shoes?
Price is right. I don't know. You get a book and you get a fan that looks like a Yaoi paddle. Come collect it at the bursar's office. I don't know.
Okay, when I
Yeah.
see you in New York City, I expect
Yeah,
you to
sure,
bring
sure,
that
sure,
fan,
sure.
that specific fanfic for Josh, really.
Yes.
Who I
This was
assume has
fun.
it too. Yeah, it always is. And when we do it in person, we could do it with the audience and make it really nuts.
Oh,
They're
I
gonna
wanna do
know
the audience.
everything, though. They're gonna
They
know.
Yeah.
are.
I want to make you guys play against the audience.
That's
what I
good
really
idea.
want.
We
So.
would lose.
I would, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you would.
Without a fucking doubt. It should be like handicapped where we like get 100 points to start and then
Yeah.
that was very fun. It's been a while since we've done that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, thank you all so much for coming on the show. This has been the One Piece podcast. I did really enjoy that though. Thank you. It is fun letting go and just
Yippee!
doing some Dojin apparently. Or not Dojin. I guess it's just what we win.
Yeah.
Fanfics.
Doing some
Anyway, we'll see-
trivia.
We'll see you in AO3, everyone, and next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
My name is Zach.
My name's Ed.
And my name is Steve.
Goodbye.
Bye.